Good morning, team. Good morning. Last day of the week. Back on a Friday, which means what? It's NFP, all right? We had that non-farm payroll print, or you can call it not flipping pretty, or you can call it whatever you want. Always gives a wacky moment, and we had it this morning. All right, so as always, though, we're going to focus on the higher time frames. Try and find if we can find a good trade setup today. It's getting harder and harder to find a good trade setup as we get towards the back end of the week, unless the market's going to give us a nice flush point. But let's get over into it now. So daily chart. As you can see, here's your lower week. All right, this is Monday. Drive up, close. Tuesday, drive down, close high. Wednesday, drive down, close high. Thursday, drive down, close high. What does that mean? Let's think about what that means. Drive down, shorts chase, close high. Next day opens up, drive down, shorts chase, close high. So we've got short stuck, short stuck. Next day, drive down, shorts chase, close high. Next day, drive down, shorts chase, close high. So who do you think's stuck in this market right now? It's definitely not buyers, right? No buyers from this week. We're just talking about this week are stuck. Shorts are stuck. Underneath, if we think about the open every day, shorts are stuck under here, under here, under here, under here. Add, blow up. All right, so that's the kind of market we're in right now. We could sense my frustration a little bit with it yesterday because as a value buyer, all right, I like things like these moves here. These moves down into good levels to buy off. These moves down. Yesterday, we didn't really get deep enough for me to participate for the long side, that is. Okay, so where's the target? Well, it wants to take out this last week's Friday high. Remember, we were up here last week before Trump scared the whole market with his tariffs. This is exactly where we're up, closing this gap into 91.10. This 91.10, by the way, is also last Friday's point of control. That's where most volume was traded last Friday. All right, so it's a big level. Now, we did trade through it in the NFP. Let's get into the hourly chart. I'll show you now. All right, so just focus on this chart at the bottom of the screen first. Yesterday, we had was the open for Thursday from New York. All right, so chop, 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 chop. Never expanded the initial balance. And then we had this big fail moment all the way down into previous day point of control. Shorts chased in here, got stuck, and we went all the way back up and ripped up through the highs. All right, so yesterday, like we talked about on the stream, was about creating liquidity. That initial balance moment here was about creating liquidity. Here was your fail break, back test of demand for the long. Right, I was actually short in this rotation. I didn't then take the long back up once it reclaimed 773s, the point of control, and traded back to the upside. Overnight, what have we done? We've just danced, all right? No big move overnight. We haven't come and done a big wash or back test. There's no big selling in this market right now. We're, again, just building liquidity. But you can see these ranges are getting tighter and tighter. Like earlier in the week, this range was very, very nice. We had like a 300-point range. Then yesterday we go into a 100-point range. And then in here, other than NFP, we're in sort of a 50-point range. So the range is getting tighter and tighter. You have to be aware of that. Key levels for today, the back test of the old point of control. We almost just got there on that wash down. Didn't quite make it on NFP. Also this old value area high. This is where we broke out from yesterday or yesterday's IB high. Same kind of thing. Around the 830s, 840s, right? All the time it's holding that. Then we have potential to keep building liquidity and eventually try and do that move higher. Remember, the market wants to move higher. It wants to take out that daily level into the top of this red block. What worries me is looking at this 5-minute chart. Okay, this is a little bit of what worries me right now. So here's the mess that we created yesterday. Lots of mess here before eventually getting above. Really, you want to hold this level, which is kind of what the market's doing on other than NFP. So drive up into Asia, back test this level, soak in London. The problem that I don't like is what NFP's done is it's taken Asia out, tapped into last Friday's point of control, failed, taken Asia London out, come very close to point of control and traded back inside. So we've ripped stops both sides, which means the low-hanging fruit that I like to aim for is gone. Right, we've taken them and taken them. All right, so the range got tight and the low-hanging fruit trade's gone, which means I'm not convinced what we're going to do now. Would I like a deeper back test? Obviously, I always want that deeper back test. I'm greedy. Right, it's not that I'm looking necessarily for the short rotation, but buys in here are much better value, or even down here. But is that going to come today? I don't see it, not unless there's some big piece of news. We need news to move the market right now. Market feels fairly settled. Even with that jobs numbers, it's not really given much back, just grinding up. You might have seen yesterday that we had earnings as well. Amazon beat on everything, but it did offer lower guidance. So you have to be aware of that. Let's see where that is opening. Opening up inside range. So it dropped, it puked out from 240 basically all the way down to its trend at 220, and then is reclaimed all the way up to 230. So about 10 points off the low, and 6 to 8 points off the highs right now. That's where Amazon's sitting. We have to see how that gets going in the open. So I'm going to be watching these levels, right? I've marked out the NFP high and NFP low. We're just trading back and forth. We're trading inside London and Asia. So I'm almost, all right, a big part of me is thinking ignore these wicks, right? These are stop run wicks. I'm almost going to treat it like we're still in here for now. Overall sentiment is bullish. Okay, sentiment is bullish. If I zoom out of here, let's go to a higher time frame, 10-minute. All right, we are making high highs and high lows all week long, but we are coming into a key location. We can get rid of this gap now that we've filled it. We're coming into this supply. All right, so we have supply here and supply here. Market wants to get above this. If it bases, it wants to go up here. Location buying for this move is not ideal. Location for this is good. All right, but location buying here for this is not ideal. That's what's going to make it very, very hard on this Friday. So we have to think, can we hold yesterday's key levels again? This kind of level in here, this afternoon top that we broke out from, I'd say sort of 8:30ish, somewhere around this, that London low. This is going to be key. Let's put it in a different color so I remember. All right, this is key. If we dip lower, just like NFP did, if we dip lower, just like NFP did, and we're looking at this previous day point of control, this is where lots of volume was built out, and this demand structure down here. All right, resistance becomes support, RBS. This is also an RBS level. We whipped through it on NFP, but it's because there was no liquidity on the book. So that's what I'm looking at, all right? Technically, drift higher until proves otherwise, but location, shocking. Absolutely terrible location, unfortunately. We've just been grinding up all week. Weekly model still in effect. Fridays love to trend. Once we can pick a trend, right, then I'll try and get involved in that. If we're just going to do a chop day like yesterday on a Friday, chances are I'm definitely not going to play that. I had a very, very nice afternoon yesterday. Those in Discord will know. Right, I was looking for that long back towards the highs yesterday, right, when we were, where is it? What time was it? It must have been here. Right here. Right here. I was telling my team I'm looking for this long to come and sweep the liquidity here. But once it failed here, I instantly got short and added in here. And I was looking for previous day point of control, which was at 10. Right, so I called it out in Discord. I had a cover here and then a cover down here. And I had one more attempt in here to retest the low, failed to do it. And I said to everyone, you must get out for a break of this because that will trigger the squeeze. And then we went and cleared out the same stops up here. So the same way we never cleared these, we never cleared these. So we raided one side, raid the other. All right, wild end of the day yesterday, but caught most of that. That was honestly enough money to make my month. So I don't really need to be pushing too hard today. So just ask yourself those same questions. Have you had a decent week? Do you need to be pushing hard on a Friday? Is there a clear setup? Remember, we are only going to trade the process and the setups in front of us. We're not going to just click buttons here. I do not love this range right now. We're just basing in the middle. Nothing right now that I'm absolutely in love with. Let's have a look at the news coming up as well. We have, all right, some Fed talkers. We have some Fed talkers, and then what do we have? Consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock. All right, so after 10 o'clock, we're kind of free for most of the day. So let's see. Maybe post 10 o'clock on that new 4-hour bar, we can see what gets going. All right, so that's what I'm thinking today. Higher prices possible. All right, it's trying to move into here, maybe take out this into this supply. If we base up here, then we have a slingshot moment up towards 22K and this next level up here. If we come and take this liquidity and fail, then I'm expecting us to fail back down inside the range for a range rotational day. Simple as that. Let's get through the chat quickly. How long we got left? About 5 minutes. Doing pretty well this morning. Morning, Coop, DJ Noah, Miguel, Jeff, Vince, Peter Curry, Thumper, TR, Mr. Slim, Rob Drag, Array, Jesse, Marek, Aid, Christy, Indicator, Leron. TR, do I get problems with payouts when I make too much? Not so much with the payouts, but I have to adjust. Definitely, yesterday I made more money than I anticipated on one of my accounts. So all that means is I'm going to have to trade a few extra days. All right, so that trade I had yesterday paid out very, very, like, I basically had wish orders in, and it went there so quick. I was adding into it. I think I got up to like 3 contracts. I was adding into it, and it got there so quick to my wish order that I made a little bit too much money. More than 30% needed for the payout, right? So I'll just have to trade a few extra days, but that's fine. I never mind making too much money if I have to trade more days. That's not a problem at all. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Noise16. Crawford, good morning. Hope you're all good. Let's just have a quick look at the rest of the market. All right, VIX dying down, coming towards the bottom end of its demand box. So sub 15 now. Very, very bullish on the VIX. Anything sub 15, all right, sorry, bearish on the VIX is bullish for the market. As we get into those low teens, very, very bullish on the market. Let's have a quick look at the ETFs. It's a little easier to see on the ETFs, to be honest, without all that mess overnight. So QQQ, top side liquidity, if it can get there, it's going to aim for 530. Again, really, it's looking to base and hold yesterday's IB high. That's basically what we're looking at. Can we hold the IB high? Other than that NFP wick, we've been holding it. Other than that NFP wick. If we start dying underneath that, we are going to dance back into range. What I would say is we're getting so tight here. I showed it to my team earlier. If we think about this hourly here, let's just take the session in profile off for a second. Okay, you can see that trend up, and if we put top resistance type trend in, all right, we are getting very, very tight in a sort of rising wedge. Now, typically these are bearish patterns, right? I'd say typically these are bearish patterns, but this doesn't feel like a typical market right now. So let's just see what we get. Let's just see what we get. I definitely don't want to be buying in supply. If we can get through supply and base, then I'll think about that next leg up. I'm not really too keen in buying in supply up here. Definitely been respecting these levels for the last week as we just trade back and forth again. No closure underneath it. One easier way to see this stuff is if you move to a line chart. We can just do that very, very quickly because it won't show you the wick. So on this 5 minute, you can see very clearly we didn't have a big wash down into these levels, which we just came down into. We just respected this level. So the close constantly, if you think about these levels, all right, higher highs and higher lows. Boom, 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 boom. All right. RBS holding up constantly. So it still wants to drift higher and take out this. How long we got? 2 minutes to the open. Or 1.5 minutes. The market just continues to drift higher. That's what I was saying to my team. I'm not convinced that we're going to have a great day today, I'm going to be honest. But maybe if we get going through supply, we have a really good day. Maybe if we can get going through the supply, maybe then we can do something. Time will tell. Time will tell. It definitely gets a bit tricky up here as we start getting into these 22Ks. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kind of attempts up here on hourly bars. 3 clear attempts, but on hourly bars, I'd say 7 kind of attempts up here. So let's see. Let's just let it shake out, see what we get. 40 seconds, and we go from there. Not in a hurry right now. Exactly, Peter. Exactly how I feel. Absolutely no rush right now. 5 green days to the upside. Short's been trapped at the lows every single day, but now we are coming into those targets, right into last Friday's supply, into last Friday's point of control before that moment of failure. So that open coming, and let's see what we get on the mag, and we go from there with everything. Let everything settle down a bit. So Tesla opening 1% down again. Amazon 2.5% down. Google just under 0.5% down. Nvidia 0.5% up or just under. Meta 0.7% up. Market's starting to get a little bit heavy here on the open. Let's just let this settle down on the mag. Microsoft gone green to red, see if it can absorb and go back up here, like it's trying to do now. Amazon 3% down now, so just going to let this market shake out. I've got absolutely no interest in trading this right now. I said to my team on Discord, I don't have confidence in this market. If it can do a breakout and base or a failed breakout, then there's going to be an opportunity here. Morning, Jonathan. There is some liquidity on the book, a little bit thin right now as they get through these imbalances. Morning, Mindful Matters. Trong Hung Dao, morning. So squeezing up here. It's going to look to take out that NFP. So into last Friday's point of control here. Can we squeeze out and take out that NFP high? And then you're thinking about, is it going to sustain bids to the upside or will there be a failed breakout? Lots of shorts will have their stops up here. Anyone who is looking for a short on Friday based off that NFP will have their stop up here. The fact that we're trading already through last Friday's volume is very, very impressive. I'm just going to remind you on the higher time frame where we are. This is Friday's supply and we're already starting to chomp through it. This is very, very impressive from this market. It continues to be extremely resilient. So NFP's high now taken. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. So impressive, this market. I always find it hard when there's a market in pure squeeze as someone that likes to play off value. It's not like I want to short this, but I want to be buying off value. And when we just move higher like you would have seen yesterday, same thing. I'm locked out, took the London dump early hours this morning, just here for moral support. Nice, Aid, good work. Yeah, some of you might have noticed the memberships and Super Chat is back. Finally, they realized that I am who I say I am. Always one of those things which is hard. Living in America, having to use like UK passports and things, they don't always understand right out the block. But so memberships are back. So if you want to support the stream with a Super Chat or membership, you can now do so. It's been off for about 2 weeks now, I think. So trading up into 40s here. There is a seller up at 22k. We are about to take out those daily wicks. Top of this red box will be the daily wick. If we base above that, wow, what a squeeze. Not in this, it's a shame. If we take out that daily wick and base, it will be interesting. Have a look at the SPY. Got a little way to go on the SPY. It can trade up into sort of 608-ish. 608 to 610 on the SPY is well where it might find some sellers. Why is there Trump news? What's hitting the wire here? Jesus Christ, mate, stop talking. Trump on NewsSad, close it down. Why? Just be quiet, just for one day. Just rest for one day, Mr. President. Just let the market settle for one day. Last Friday, you freaked it out to the tune of 1,000 points. Just calm down. So market looking to take out that daily candle. I'm not in anything here. This is a straight squeeze up. We're through the NFP. If it bases up here and takes out the 65s, and it's got a chance to move up all the way up into these levels up here on the daily. Any failed breakout here, I'd rather see it take out the highs first. All right, so if I was going to think about a short, I'd need to see something like this to join in. All right, otherwise, if it takes this out and bases, maybe has a return back to these highs through 22K. Not going to chase this long right now. This is 83-point pump off the open in the first 3 minutes. So ES finding some supply at that level into 1650 is where I had it, so missed it by a tick. Coming back down in towards its base here on the ES. Qs with relative strength so far. Does ES hold the previous day high here? This is back testing the level it came into earlier this morning. Or is this a failed break and then a drive lower? So ES into previous day high, that's going to be the key level for it. We haven't swept that daily level yet on the Qs. Oh. So absorption on the ES, drive up, back down into 5-minute flow zones, into previous day high, being absorbed so far. So very close to that daily level. Remember that daily level, you have to be aware of a failed breakout or a sustained bid. So far, just holding it very, very well. Bonds up again today, all right? Dixie holding, bonds are up. Squeezes on here. Going for that daily level like we talked about. And then 22K possible. Tagging into that daily. Top of this box, I think we just about swept it. It just looks like it wants to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze this market just non-stop. Can probably get rid of that old POC now. So opening above range. Gave the wash down this morning. And now pumping up through the big daily levels. Remember, there's a seller at 22,171 lot up there. ES struggling a bit more. ES is definitely struggling a bit more than the SPY. So two things I'm considering here. If it bases out, is there a possible long back into these blocks up here? If it fails after, I mean, the fact that it only took that daily level by a tick isn't very good, but if it fails up here, is there a chance for that rotation? You have to watch to see if it bases above that NFP. Remember, that's where shorts are stuck. So that last pull down came just underneath it. If we get stuck under here, this becomes more and more possible. Big if right now. The draw is still higher right now. It's so impressive. Every day, just a grind up. Doesn't matter what earnings are bad, like whether Tesla's having a bad day or those days with Nvidia or Amazon gapping down. It's just in a short squeeze. That's what this market's in right now. Talked about it yesterday when people were telling me, oh, I'm ready to short the Qs. When do I short the Qs? I think it needs to have a puke. That tells me we're going to go higher. There's no reason for it to roll over, especially if shorts are getting crowded, which is probably what's happening right now. Too many shorts getting crowded in this market, looking for that rotation lower. It will give it when it's ready, probably when they're all blown out. But right now, we are very, very bullish, coming to the top of the daily range. Remember, if we're going to expand higher today, we can actually go up to 22,100 if it really wants to. That would be those dailies. And then through that, if we really want to get, I'll check this daily. Oh, We really want to go to the top Bollinger. 22,215 is possible if it really wanted to go to the top Bollinger. So this NFP wick going to be key now. Does it base up here? Remember, this was a daily level here. It's failed to get above and hold. Does it base here for a flag and go? If it starts to fail here and reject, then a rotation back into these becomes possible. What am I seeing here? Morning trend tree. Jonathan, old down, was trying to trade 5 micros and I traded 5 minis. Jesus, yeah, there's a big difference there. Hopefully you made money then. I can be done for the day. Yeah, you must have made money. Yeah, walk away. That's a big lot size trading 5 minis. That's no joke. All right, ES having another attempt to move higher here. Low zone starting to catch up. Still basing above that NFP right now. Structure not ideal. All right, big squeeze up. If it can build out here, it is opening up this possibility. Very, very early in the session. Remember, we've got news at 10 o'clock as well. Location to buy, though, is not ideal, right? It's really not ideal up here, but if it's going to keep squeezing higher, it might not offer an ideal location. As always, selfishly, I would prefer a failed breakout and a rotation lower. Not for the short necessarily, but because it will offer me a better buying opportunity. Don't jump off, getting hot in here under the lights. Looks so similar every day on the hourly, honestly. A bit tighter in range, but it looks very, very, very similar. We do a wash, we trap. That wash today was the NFP. We trap and we grind and then we squeeze. And then we go as far as we can go. And then we go sideways. We do a wash, we trap, we grind, we squeeze. Every single day this week, we've had the same setup. Okay, ES going for a breakout into these highs then. Here it goes. New high day coming on ES, I think. There you go. New high day. Breaking out on the ES here. Like we said, SPY's got a little way to go. It can trade up to sort of 608 and the highs of, you might as well call it 610 on the SPY if it's going to get going. Nice, Ty. Good work. Good work. You've got my annoying voice in your head then, telling you what to do. This is trying to build the long setup at the moment. Right, this is what it's trying to do. This right here, protecting NFP, it's trying to build this. This is supply. If it gets over and bases, it can go again. All right, but I just don't love the personally, I don't love the location. I talk about this every day. Trade your own thesis. Like, if you like trying to play these, if you like buying higher and playing these to go higher, by all means trade it. I like buying low to trade back up. That's how I've always traded. So I struggle to buy high to go higher. It's just not how I like to trade. But it doesn't mean it doesn't work. If there's structure there, it definitely works. No, it's as high as it gets 5 days long. What do you mean? Oh, we're at where we were 5 days ago. Yeah. Okay, so failed breakout there. Again, this is important here. We're building liquidity here. This is like what we've done the last few days, right? So if it traps, it does this. This is what it's done the last few days. Maybe on Friday, maybe it's the day where it does this finally. Who flipping knows? But it's building liquidity like this at the moment. Failure to break out of this will trap bulls. Right? If it breaks down here and reclaims, we trap shorts. If it breaks down and stays heavy, we get short rotation back towards those lows. We can think about the NFP low if we're really going to do that down here. Right, but previous day high, important place here. VWAP previous day high. Do you know what? Let's do, where did we open today? Holding VWAP off the open as well right now, that blue line. So anchored to the 930 print. We're holding that for now. If we start dying underneath the NFP, I'd be very, very cautious. I'm trading my new funded account. I have to trade 10 days with 30% consistency on a 50K target of 2,600 and need to exceed by 1,000. So you need to get to 3,600, are you saying? Should I quit trading this account for the day? I'm up 316. Yeah, you can easily quit. If you're going to base hit of 300 a day for 10 days, yeah, just stop trading today. Move to the next account. Definitely, that's fine. It's a good way to trade. All right, back to NFP candle high. All right, this line in the sand here. Very, very important level right now. Liquidity still on the book higher at 22K. The sellers are still up there. Buyers looking for big buyers down here. 750, really. Not much before that. Some at 900. Actually, that's a lie. Yeah, 200 lot into 900, but 750 under that. So trying to hold that NFP level like we talked about. Trying to hold flow zones, VWAP, NFP. Yeah, NFP. Yeah, non-farm payroll. It's the print that we had at 8:30. This big old wick, NFP, non-farm payroll. All right, that's the high and that's the low of it. Still trying to base here. It's still looking bullish. ES starting to break upside. This is trying to push here for an upside move. I'm still not interested in this yet. It's probably going to go without me, and that's probably okay. Morning, Ramus. Mark this out on the Qs, see where we're basing here. Yeah, Q's trying to base above on the cash. It is looking pretty bullish from a Q's point of view if they can set a squeeze. All the time it's holding the NFP, it's got the potential to squeeze. Let go of NFP, we can do either that bear trap, like I said, underneath this wick, or stay heavy and rotation. Those are the two plays right now. Back to the NFP again. See how important it is. It's been very accurate this morning trading into that. ES relative strength here. Into 620, psychological number. If ES keeps going, it's got to move into 45s if it really wants to keep going. Depends if they're going to rotate this market or not. Do they need to trap bears before going higher? I guess that's the question right now. Do they need to do that trap by washing the liquidity underneath 26? This is kind of key. This, or this. Still very early in the day. Remember, you got news at 10 o'clock. Yes, still pushing here. Big old push out on the ES here. Still holding the NFP wick right now as well. Not letting shorts out. So shorts being forced to cover. If they keep covering, we'll squeeze higher. Flow zone's still bullish. Still got targets ahead. Remember this daily level, we only took it by, what's that? A point, 2 points maybe? Through that, we can trade up to 22,045. There is a seller on the tape at 22K, but really the supply is higher. See White House talking. What? There's so much unscheduled stuff. It's just fucking nightmare with these lot. Jobs data underscores the necessity of President Trump's pro-growth policies. Just don't talk unless it's scheduled, please. Last thing we need today is another tweet or comment out the blue just to destroy the market again. Still failing to move higher here. Still basing though. Still early. Range up here is tight. Okay, this extreme range 69 to 34. Tightening of this range. No reason to trade right now. If it starts to fail, I'll look for the rotation. If it puts the trap, I'll look for the buys. Watching carefully back towards that NFP again, into the anchored view up off the 930 again, into the flow zones again. Everything currently still bullish. $10 until the new hourly candle. I'm going to think about how this hourly might work as well. Let's have a dial into this. 26 is. Lots of absorption down here. It's interesting. They've done this the last few days where they just won't sweep and they leave it for ages and ages and ages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these guys getting absorbed constantly for this move. Normally you would expect them when it's like this to take them out first. But if shorts are stuck, it doesn't do it. And that's kind of the premise that we've been in for a while now. Morning, Jack. If we're here for too long, whatever moves come will be violent. Because we're just condensing. Lots of volume being built up here now since that morning drive, right? We've been up here since the second minute of the day. So 10, is this 20 minutes now? 32, yeah, 20 minutes up here. Building volume up here. ES continuing to go higher. Q's struggling to do the move. VIX continuing to break down under 15. All right, very, very bullish for ES all the time. VIX is doing that. Major risk on profile. What doesn't make sense is the bonds. Bonds up as well. Treasuries. Short and long terms, they're all up over 1%. They had a big wash a few days ago and they've pretty much been able to grind it all back. Been a long week, yeah. Bulls in total control all week long. Been very hard to get involved in a lot of it. Yeah, Kashkari was on like CNBC, wasn't he? See that? I don't think he's even a voting member either, Kashkari. Morning, BU. That seller sitting up at 22,000, 186 lot up there, looking to get filled up towards the next area of supply up here. So here's the squeeze. Squeeze is on up towards that level probably. Remember, this is a big daily level. This edge of this is where last Friday's high was. Oh, just got, sorry guys, getting an alert there because Nvidia's starting to break out. So Nvidia crossing 130, very high pitched alert. Sorry if that went through your headphones and screamed at you, just turn the sounds off. So Nvidia alert put on last week, crossing through 130. It's looking for that breakout. If it dives back inside, it might be a failed break. Lots of stops getting hit there on Nvidia. Market pulling back into anchored view up off the open yet again. Nothing's changing here. Same thing over and over and over. Just over 5 minutes until we get that new hourly bar. Sorry, yeah, I'm really sorry about it. It was really high pitch, wasn't it? Those trading view alerts are loud. So do we get this wash here on the market for that stop run? And then where do we go afterwards? Here, it's trying to do that wash down towards sort of 25s. Now the question is, does it bear trap down there and soak straight back up or not? Or does it just give back basically the whole thing? Watching very, very carefully here. We're going to do a failed breakout and the market's going to give back. I don't mind joining short, but it has to prove itself to me. So watching how we act. We're right into that NFP again. You can see how key it is. And this is where short stops were this morning. If this is trap buyers, we can wash all the way down here like this, starting to do it. If it's going to trap bears, it's going to do this move here, which we've done all week long. This has been the move for the week. This here has been the move for the week. Encourage them to do breakouts and trap and come back inside. It's been the market's favorite move this week. Four minutes until that new hourly bar. Needs to get a breaker structure here. Shorts won't want to see it get back above this. They will need that to reject for rotation. Beautiful. And we trade lower here, back towards the deep pullback flow zones would be nice. And then maybe all the way back down to PDH, the red line. And maybe into 900. Lovely. Keep going. Keep washing. Back towards view up now. Beautiful. Would love a move into previous day high and lower here. This is looking good. News at 10. So buyers trapped up there. Took the daily high. Trap buyers. Need to see this stay heavy now for short continuation. Reclaim of this level sets the squeeze. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. All right, shorts are in from here. I did scalp some of this, adding on the way down, covering into here. Out of it now. Out of it just before the news. If they drop this on news down here, I'm going to be fuming that I've covered, but there we go. So this move here, like we talked about, it likes to do this. So I took this short, started covering. Once it stayed heavy, started adding back in. And if it reclaims this, I'll flip back to bullish, because then I know if shorts chase here and we come back up here, I can get this long for an expansion upside. If we reject the level we just broke down from, if we reject NFP here, then we can come back down for NFP low into this support and into this. If we break down of that, we go level down. So range rotation basically right now. Yeah, exactly, Peter. Same here, mate. Same thing here. It was an early trade, counter trend, but once we let go of this, there was a trade here. You just had to be aggressive with stops, because you never know if they're going to do that. Oh, what have I just done? No. There we go. Just deleted all my boxes on Ninja. Yeah, basically, I was playing for this. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3 drives. I started entering here, and then just small position here, and then adding here, covering a bit here, and then into this, and I'm out now just because of the time, not because the trade's thesis is wrong, but we're into a new hourly candle. So we're trading back into overnight point of control into 50s. I mean, that'd be amazing, but this is possible. I just don't like holding into news into a new hourly bar, which is here. There you go. So I should have held it. Wow, what a puke on the news. What a puke. Oh, imagine if I'd held that. Fuck me. Market's so evil, man. It's so evil. It's a new hourly bar, new 4-hour bar, wherever we just traded down to. Previous day, point of control, orange line, tapped into it, NFP low, tapped into it. Okay, so we're in a range. All right, we know that this is our range right now. It set it here, failed break above, absorption off this. We have to wait and let this settle now. Jesus, guys, I wish I'd held a runner in that. I would have got like an extra 150 points in 1 second. Just let this settle down. Jesus Christ, this market's wild. Let's see what this print was. Came in cooler. Consumers, so no confidence right now. Sentiment 67.8 versus 71, so came in cooler. Huge ATR there. Look at the ATR. That happened in 1 second. A break from 900 to 780, 120 point candle. That literally happened in a second. Now, this is why I talk about the problem with holding into news. If that had gone the wrong way and I had a 20-point stop in, it wouldn't have filled me. It would have filled me 100 points late. Yeah, please don't tell me what to do on my stream. Cheers. Yeah, exactly, Coop. They love doing that. They love doing that. Big old puke out here. Can't chase this down right now. We need some structure. It feels like it wants to go lower, but we will need structure in this to play it. Into PD, POC, and into NFP. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, even NFP kind of hinted towards that earlier this morning. Straight puking. No way of chasing this right now. Have to let it settle down. I'd like to have some structure to play off here, but we're so far down now. Like, I can't imagine any structure playing out here. Starting to break. We're starting to break that wedge that we talked about as well. Next level it will trade into if it's going to start to let go. 776, which we're at now, and then into 716-ish. Like the 700. 700's a key. We talked about it in Discord this morning. For me, 700s are key in this market. So big wash down. Let's just see what it does. It can squeeze all the way back up if it wants. Your ATR is massive right now. Book got very thin. Bidder at 750 looking to get filled. The book is thin here. It's just letting go of everything. Without an entry, even that last move was 40-point bounce. Wow. Let it shake. Let it shake out. Don't want to be shorting into here. Need a pop and something to build out for a rotation. Come on, don't just keep breaking lower. Come on. coming into previous day lows here. I really do not want to chase this down here. Into these daily levels. So previous day low down here. Previous day open. So probably some covering starting to happen down here. If we start breaking these levels, we can keep washing lower. But this is a massive level down here in towards the 700s. I really need a bounce here to think about fading. I'm not going to just keep attacking it as it keeps drifting lower. Need a bounce here. Otherwise, we can still be in a range rotation. The market is heavy, though. Look at the Mag 7. All just flipped to a sell. Other than Meta and Nvidia, everything else puking out right now. No bounces in this market. This is a huge level down here. These are huge levels down here. Previous day low, this green line. Get rid of that. Might just get rid of that as well. Don't need these now. I think we've traded through them. Clean this chart up a little bit. Very, very far away from any level to try and think about a bounce short here. So got to be careful. Yeah, VIX just absolutely ripped, didn't it? Came to the bottom of the edge, sub 15. And just straight back upside now. 1550s. So how far do we bounce here? And does it offer a short? In fact, let's have a think about this. Even offering one. Yeah, off the high, maybe into 825s. If it squeezes through all the way back to VWAP, definitely possible. This is a big reaction, so it could be considered an overreaction, remember. You would expect a bounce and then a retest of the lows, very much like yesterday. Again, might need a two-leg. If it reclaims, high pitch down there. If it reclaims areas, you need to be careful of a squeeze. Very much like yesterday, it can be reclaiming shorts if it get trapped near the lows. Can be very, very aggressive on the bounce back up. This was a huge, huge move down, but we would like to see it come lower here. So maybe a bounce to fade, some form of bear flag. This is looking good. Very good. Need a break of structure, break of the lows, ideally. I don't mind it drifting all the way up into that VWAP. A little overshoot of the previous day point of control. So what I am aware of here is if we're going to just do this for the day. I would love some move into here, some form of structure to attack. That would be really nice. Here's a tinnitus out of the blue there, just screaming at me. So nothing has taken previous day low. So I expect previous day low to be attacked at some point. Can we just drift higher first? Do enough shorts get trapped here and cause it a problem though? Somewhere back towards this zone here would be nice. 1, 2, and then a fail, something like that. Any reclaim of these, it's all off the table. This will look like yesterday afternoon if it does that move. Looking at liquidity on the book, some at 800 here, that whole number. And we have now swept both sides of NFP again, like wow, really? That's insane, isn't it? So I was saying that ODT puts around 350% in 7 minutes. If you were right side of that, you had a good time, eh? Remember the anchor view up off the high here, flow zones here, and then the other view ups here. So this kind of zone here, if it can reach up it, might find some sellers. Might not even make that far. Point of control here, very, very key. Very, very key. And those in Discord, what did we say earlier? The battle around the 700s is key. This sort of blue zone around here. This is key today. Anchored view ups on my chart, on my other chart. Seller at 800, stacking up there. He wants to get filled a little bit higher. It's looking good for this bear flag now. You have to be careful if you're taking this because that pump wasn't too high. So make sure you're taking some profits if you're taking this, and then hold runners looking for previous day low and underneath. Come on, just wash hard. Just wash hard here. Must take some profits into this move if you took this bear flag. I would love it to move higher, but we keep rejecting this previous day point of control. If we can stay heavy here, we can rotate. If it reclaims this, shorts are off the table, it will squeeze way, way higher. If it reclaims this, it needs to come up here. It's looking for that expansion here. It wants to break and go and run towards that previous day low. That's what it wants to do. It wants to go and test previous day low. There's buyers here at 25s. Previous day low is at 07. 700s is the battleground. All right, we lose 700s or 690s, we can wash all the way back down to 480s. It's a big, big battleground. Have a look on the H1. These are the kind of areas, if it does this, you have to be careful of. If it stays heavy, we come all the way back down into this. Here's your break. This bear flag playing out. Didn't even give any depth to it. Make sure you're taking some partials into these levels, team, please, if you're taking this. Here's previous day low coming up right now. Make sure you are taking a partial into this. Partial here. Watching 700 now. If they start to let go of this, there's a huge, huge puke out possible in this market. It gets a little bit dense into 650, and then through that, we get thin. So trying to absorb around that previous day low. Should be runners only right now. You should be runners only. You should be covering some of your move here. This was a nice breakdown. It's a big move. That is 100 points. Make sure you are paying yourself some money. Gets a little thin coming up here. All right, so the next liquidity grab will be into 673, then an old point of control into 650. Through that, we are going to wash down to 500. All right, so just make sure you're paying yourself. We can always reattack this. This ended up being a better day than what I thought it was going to be. This was perfect. Failed breakout of the high in a rotation. Very, very nice. Nice, Peter. Yeah, me too. I'm just in a tiny, tiny piece here and getting very, very close to covering it. Because I don't want to give back 100 points, which is what I kind of had to risk here. So reclaim of PDL, I'll take it off. Yeah, lovely, Peter. You did predict the dump. Yeah, it had to drive higher for about 30 minutes first, but you did. Once it set the trap up there, it became nicer. Once it set this, I just wish, like, my entry was here. I could have had this whole thing had they not put news in at 10 o'clock. I would still be in it all the way down. All right, so starting to see some covering here at previous day low. Remember, this blue box is demand. We're expecting some bounces here. I would say any reclaim off this, your shorts must be off the table. All right, if they reclaim this, you get this move and a squeeze up. This will be exactly like yesterday up the lows. Really, we expect lower prices all the time. Momentum stays in this, but you must be careful with how you play. All right, be sensible and smart. Great work, everyone. Yeah, hit me with W's if you got that. Maybe some of you are still in it. I'm out my runner because we're reclaiming previous day low now. So I'm expecting a bounce back up. I can always think about re-attacking it. Coop with a W, Vince, Steve. Yeah, nice work, team. Peter, good stuff, team. Good stuff. If we come all the way back up to the last hourly low, it'd be 788. Last hourly low. Yeah, so into here. So how it acts here is key. We reclaim that, we go inside the last hourly range. Look at all of you. BU, Jeff with a W, indicator. You're in a short. I was in a short. I've covered the short now. I was in the short. Momentum feels very, very heavy. Back to previous day low here again. Every pop failing so far. All right, shorts are or sellers are in control here. But you are in key levels right here. You have to be careful. You do not want to get stuck near these lows, right? We know that this is demand. Get the dance on previous day low after sweeping previous day lows, doing the dance. Remember your anchors and your VWAPs and your previous day point of control. Everything's up here right now. So your better entries are way up higher. But if we're in strong momentum, it might just keep doing it. But I don't like shorts in here. It's very, very, very high risk. Nice, Tyson. Nice, BU. Nice, Thumper. Good work, everyone. Good work, everyone. There you go. Some relief coming. Like we said, this is key level. You don't want to be short down here in the blue box. Maybe up here. If it protects this, maybe up here offers a new leg. Reclaim this. Squeeze up. What's this level here? Old hourly low. Yeah. This is a big, big level here. All right. This is an hourly low from the previous hourly chart and the anchor and the flow zones and previous day point of control. This is a huge level. This needs to stay heavy if you're thinking about shorts the rest of the day. They reclaim this, you are opening the door for a squeeze all the way back up towards the highs. All right. If too many shorts get stuck down here, think about what happened yesterday. It will be very, very similar. So far, what have we done? We've gone from supply. Remember, this red box was in before. This blue box was in. We've gone from supply to demand. That's what we've done. So respect the demand. It hasn't become supply yet because we've held it. Yeah, I mean, the technical setup was there before the news. I was actually in the short before the news, and I covered before the news came because I didn't want to hold it and get smashed on a 100-point stop run. It's just that this time it would have worked out for me. Interesting. SPY didn't sweep previous day low. Did the ES? No, it has not. So they've got a way to go if they're going to take out the low. So you have divergence there as well. Q's taking out the previous day low. SPY and ES not taking out the previous day low. As you move to 750, looking at people on the tape to see where they are. Still got that seller at 22,000. Remember, if we start reclaiming through 800s, squeezes on for upside. Nvidia about to go red on the day now as well. Is this the start of the bear flag? This is a question. Are they going to break down, let go previous day low again here? We can break under with volume underneath this blue box. It's much, much better. They basically need to break under this level here, where those buyers last came in, and do something like this. Otherwise, we can keep coming up to here. They need to protect this. Sellers, when I say they need to protect this for this move. So far, flow zones holding the market down. Remember, you are in demand. If you're looking to add here or take a short position here, it's the worst location to short of the day that we've had so far. And make sure you're looking at the H1. It will help you so much. There's H1. This wick here key, we've swept these guys out. This is an old point of control. There's another point of control here. If we get like this, we come down. If we come inside, here's key. If we trade through this, we trade back into range. H1 is your guide right now. It will really, really help you. Lots of volume being created down here now as well. Too many shorts get stuck down here. It's going to be like yesterday if too many shorts get stuck. Remember yesterday afternoon. Big wash. Shorts tried once, shorts tried twice, and then relief. And we haven't had the 2 tries here, but you have the same kind of pivot. Here. Relief through that. They need to protect this. Still technically bearish until it takes out that pivot, by the way. But location, not so good. But from a technical standpoint, you are still bearish. If they start to do a bear flag here, there is potential for that move. But like I keep saying, have to be aware of your location. This is demand. This is previous day low. Low-hanging fruit got taken. It did not get taken on the ES, mind you. There's one thing to note. It didn't get taken on the ES. So coming back towards, let's make this red so we remember. This anchored view up off the high. I'm going to remove this anchored view up for 930. Don't need that anymore. It's pretty much leveled out. So previous day, point of control, anchored view up, flow zones. These are all key here into this area. Remember, if it rips through 800, all shorts are probably off the table unless it swipes and comes straight back down, which will be just a little stop run. But if they keep reclaiming, shorts will be off the table. We will just be in a range rotation. Remember, 5 more minutes until the initial balance is printed. So possible IB low, IB high, VWAP midpoint. Possible for a rotation if they reclaim this. Here's your anchor off the highs now. This is average price of the seller who took a sell off the high. Oh, sorry team, slamming the mic. So that anchor and previous day point of control holding up so far. There you go. They're trying to force some selling in here. It's huge, huge level here. You can be patient here. I feel like it should come up to that hourly 89 really. Be cautious if it builds liquidity here. It's not what you want to see. If you're looking for the short, you need to see this or like this. If it builds liquidity here, opening up that gate for the squeeze. Big if. I know it's a big if. And 89 is that hourly transition, right? 89 right here, somewhere in here. It's where we went hour to hour. Right, the hourly low, the previous hour. So there's so many levels in here that traders are trading off right now. Previous day point of control, these flow zones, this pivot, previous hour low. If they start reclaiming and shorts have forced themselves in the hole here, they will open up this gate. If they protect this or they sweep and fail, we should retest that low then. Underneath that low, we can look for a level down. Back into previous day point of control and the anchor view up again. So already 100 points off the low. All right, so watch your ATR. We're already 100 points off that low already. Clean that up a bit. What does the point of control mean? Is there an indicator for that? Point of control is where most value on the session has been created. Now, most volume, sorry. This one here, I'm looking at previous day. I know that previous day, most action was created here, right? Most traders participated at that level. So if we're under that, then anyone who's bought above it is in trouble. If we're below that, then anyone... Sorry, if we're above that, then anyone who's shorted below it is in trouble. Yeah, so it's about understanding volume, where participants have been trading. You can see how key it is here with the anchor. Absolutely vital. Here's the bear flag. Can they break down now? Looking at this short side, beautiful. If we stay heavy here, it'd be lovely. Right up to the anchor, right up to the flow zones, right up to the previous day point of control. Big, big levels here. Now, can we get aggressive here and wash? This is a big signal candle here. If this stays heavy, we look very, very good here, team. We are looking fantastic. No worries, Gary. Yeah, so you can use, sorry, you asked for an indicator. There's two ways of doing it. What I like to use is session volume profile, right? And I use it on an H1. All right, so this is the session. So current session volume profile from the overnight to now is 857. But what I'm interested in is this previous day. This one here. I'm always interested in previous day because I know if buyers act there, then I expect buyers to try and absorb. If we get through that, then I know they're underwater. Hopefully that makes sense. But all we're ever thinking about is who's trapped in the market. And if we don't have anyone trapped, how can we trap someone? So covering some into this blue box again here, just in front of it, front running it a bit. I am in short here for this signal candle as we started to break down. If this stays heavy versus this, I don't mind adding. If we reclaim this, I am out. Any reclaim through 70s is not a good look, not what you would want to see as a bear. They build liquidity here. Be careful of that right shoulder building. Oh, it's Gooseball talking now as well. I didn't have that scheduled. Did anyone have that scheduled? What a nightmare. Yeah, Gooseball now talking. Fantastic. Nightmare when they do this, isn't it? Like, how can you plan when they just come in? I want to see this wash all the way down to lows. Back down to previous day low or something. It has to stay has to stay heavy in here. Looking good. Looking really good. Come on, let's get a continuation lower. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Let go of 30s. 330s. There's bids at 700s. It's a bit of a battleground here. I don't like that Gooseball's talking, you know. I'm taking this off. I don't like it. He's talking about the jobs report. I don't like people interfering with my technicals here. He's been sent to go and save the market. It would be a nightmare. I don't have him scheduled, so I was not prepared for that, and it's just hit the wire. He's already talking. So I'm kind of watching. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. I'm watching this here. This is where we know sellers came in. We need to protect this to move lower. I feel better if he stops talking. If we protect this to move lower, then I expect this move here, partials, and then expansion lower. If we reclaim this, then I definitely think we squeeze. Usable tariffs add a little uncertainty. Well, that would be a bit obvious, wouldn't it? Stuck at that anchored VWAP from the low. Are we really? So we're between the anchored VWAP from the high and the low. Oh, we are. Good eyes, Coop. Good eyes, Coop. So this red one's anchor VWAP from the high, the blue one from the anchor VWAP from the low. Yep. I know, Peter. It drives me mad. It drives me mad. Like, I don't mind if they schedule it, but when they just come out and start talking, it annoys me because then we have to deal with the news algos, and like I don't want to compete with, you know, news algos who are can trade way quicker than you or I, right? Just like this guy here on news. Still rejecting this right now up here. Still think it has a potential to sell. Again, if it reclaims, we build that right shoulder, we will squeeze upside if it reclaims. Not in anything now. The moment he started talking, I felt uncomfortable, so I took it off. Yeah, exactly, Peter. Honestly, the moment I feel uncomfortable as well, I would tend to just take things off. I want to be calm when I'm in a trade. I want to feel good. Same as I took it off before the news. I know it's probably overly risk adverse, but hey, I would rather lock in profits before a newsprint and not have to worry about my stop getting slipped 100+ points, which is what we will get in this market. I honestly think that. You put a stop in 20 points, think about how big that newsprint was, 120 points in literally seconds. Okay, starting to print here. If we have a look at this, let's find out where's my seconds chart. Let's go to a 1 second chart. Look at this. Imagine I was long here. I know I was short, but imagine I was long here with my stop at 89. In 2 seconds, all right, if it took me 2 seconds to fill, instead of getting filled at 89, I would have got filled 90 points lower. That's the problem with this thin liquidity. Right, 2 seconds it took to fill 90 points lower. Madness. All right, so starting to reclaim here potentially. Back to the anchored VWAP, back to point of control. It's built out that right shoulder. You have a bit of a quasi here. Head, left, right. They're aiming for this. How we act here then becomes important. If the flow zones start to support this, we flipped one imbalance here after sweeping hourly lows. We flipped this imbalance here. This is starting to look like an upside kind of move. Very much like yesterday afternoon. Right, slightly different, but same scenario. Short stuck at the lows. Where don't we short? What was I saying the whole time? Do not short down here. Do not, for God's sake, short down here. We took the previous day low. Oh, I didn't have it, Chris. And I don't think TradingView had it either. And MarketWatch didn't have it. Let me check TradingView, unless I missed that. But I did look this morning. Yeah, nothing on TradingView, nothing on MarketWatch. Maybe I need to start scanning somewhere else. Tom, the best copy of Trader that I recommend, probably Replicanto. I can give you a code for that. Get you some money off. Give me a second. This one here. That's the best copy trader that I just posted. Usual, see that. Chris, what are you using, if you don't mind me asking? What are you using? It was on Financial Juice. Dang, I missed it then. Yeah, I think most people allow news trades. Yeah, Glenn, there's some great indicators for that. I used to use an ATR based on that and fibs from previous sessions and weekly sessions. I just don't use it anymore. So I've got enough information on my screens now, I think. Forex Factory. Okay, I'm just going to stick to Financial Juice. I've obviously moved away from that for Financial Watch. Okay, if this was a sweep to go lower, this will be very, very nasty for the bulls. These levels here are going to be key. Are they just going to sell this down? Wow, 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 wow. What is Gooseball saying to cause this? So this is the low that created this high. This was a sweep, no closure above. This is your internal range now. How we act in here is key for the remainder of the day. Get rid of this. So these are your pivots now. This low created this high, but there's no closure above here, so let's be cautious until that closes above. But if we're going to do an IB, we have a VWAP up here we can aim for if it's going to do an IB. Yeah, institutions trade the edges always. The reason for that is it's where the stops are. It's where the stops are. So lots of people who are buyers, right, versus previous day low, they stopped out here. Lots of shorts chased here. So when you get lots of sells, you can partner that off by institutions being buys, and then we get equal ratio, and when they get squeezed out, they move upside. It's all about pairing off. They want to be able to enter the market basically without being seen. The best way to do that is to pair off. That's why they have to build the liquidity. Vic's trying to base out here. These are hot. Jesus. No worries, Gary. You're welcome, mate. No worries. A little bit no man's land here. Sweeping one side into key levels, no base above. Lower time frame structure is bullish. Every other structure right now is bearish. We banged on that H1 level we talked about into 91 right here, no close above. So the old hourly low was here. Banged into it, finding some sellers there. If we trade through that, we trade inside the last hourly bar. Remember that hourly bar has huge imbalance on the sell side on the way down. If sellers regain control here, we can re-attack those lows. It's a big if. Honestly, it's a little bit of a mess here in general, I would say. Because we're at key levels. If they let go of 32s, then we probably come and retest these lows, and they might try and reaccumulate down there. Low zone still bearish. Still underneath the previous day point control. Let's see if they protect those lows or not here. Liquidity both side on the book right now. So buyers down into 700. See if there's a big order under that. Not really. Upside. Still got that 22,000 seller on the tape. Nice, Crawford. Look forward to working with you all. Feels like we're going to let go here. The fact that we couldn't close above that hourly low is key. Still trapped between the two anchor VWAPs. Just have to let this play out a little bit first before I make my next decision. Big pump. Yeah, I use it. Correct. I use it for correlation. It's not like heavily weighted, and obviously it's weighted more with the S&P. But like if I see VIX like breaking out upside and driving and driving and driving up, I know we're in a risk off environment on the market. So it gives me more thesis to take a short trade. If we're basing out on the VIX, I don't love to take a short trade in general. If we're just moving sideways, the market tends to just prefer to drift up, right? Just in general, the market's built to drift up. So if the VIX is just basing, it's more likely that we're going to drift up. Sometimes, I think it happened like 2 weeks ago, it happened on stream. We had the ES moving up, the VIX moving up, and the Qs moving up. That should not happen. And I was saying we've got major divergence here. Something's going to give. And then we got a huge tug on the market. So sometimes you can use it for edge when you see stuff like that. Like I said, I have a feeling we're going to make new lows here, but there's just not an actual setup to take for me right now. There was an inverse here that you could have taken. Flow zone short, could have taken that anchor VWAP. If we start letting go, I think it would be very, very obvious. No worries, mate. But yeah, for me, it's just on a side monitor. And much like I do it with, like you would have heard my alarm with you early on, NVIDIA going off for the 130 break. Same for VIX. I'll set alerts each side's of range. So I think, okay, if VIX breaks out of here, the market's probably going to go risk off. If VIX breaks out of here, the market's going risk on. Use alerts, honestly. Absolute game changer. Because it's really hard. Sorry, stuff in my face here. It's really hard to follow everything all the time. Very, very hard to do that. Even if you had 20 bloody monitors, your eyes and brain can't compute it. So just use alerts. If there's a key indicator you're looking at, maybe it's the VIX, or it's the ads, or it's the Mag 7, just set price alerts on it. And then have it flash up and tell you when something crosses that area. And that would just give you confidence then to think, okay, well, you know, NVIDIA is breaking out to the upside. VIX is breaking down to the downside. ES is breaking out to the upside. NQ should follow suit. I'm going to look for longs. You know, just adds to the confidence of the trade. Trump press conference 10:30 to sign executive orders, and then speaks 1 and 2 o'clock today. So Central Time. So that's 11:30 market time then. Is that right? So in like 45 minutes. Is that right? No worries, Willa Williams. Yeah, price alerts are key. I used to use them when I was trading small caps all the time, because having a scanner on and having to look at small caps. There's half the reason I moved to futures, really, more than anything. It's just it's exhausting trying to learn personalities of so many stocks and move back and forwards each day. I'm very good at just sticking to one, but set price alerts for confluence. Did the same thing yesterday. After I took that short yesterday, I didn't realize I'd left a price alert at the IB high, and I was walking my dog, and it pinged on my phone to let me know that the market had just taken out the initial balance high, which I couldn't believe, because it meant the market had reclaimed the whole thing in like 20 minutes. Okay, so we're just building liquidity, trading sideways, right? So we know that buyers stepped in underneath these lows, all right, into the IB low. This is where they've stepped in. We're trying to build liquidity out here. Now we're in this liquidity building phase. We know shorts stops are up here. Violation of that stop takes you upside. If we reject range and reject trend here, right, if this becomes a huge trend and we get a rejection, we can trade lower. If we reclaim it, we can expect a trade back to the VWAP off the IB low. Best trade of the day has gone. I think we did as well as we could to get this. I think I got like one of these to here, and then I had to wait for a bounce, and this to this. Unfortunately, this move was the best move, but again, news-based. Very hard to take that. But look how good the levels are. Right, if you're going to learn anything, just make sure you draw these out each day. Red, blue. Do I want to long up here? No. Do I want to short down here? No. What do I want to do? Get the meat in the move from one side to the other. All right? That and that only. I don't want to guess the top. I don't want to guess the bottom. I want to get the meat of the move. Once these buyers are stuck, I want to get the meat of the move. Once these sellers are stuck, I want to get the meat of the move. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Well, NT8, right? Not NT6. I'm on NT8. I'm sure it's NT8 now. You're in NT6. That's got to be about 10 years old now, surely. What are the two anchored VWAPs to? All right, the blue one is off the low, and the red one is off the high. Yeah, just off this current session. So now we're reclaiming the red one. We reclaim this, then sellers, average price, right, who chase the market down are now out the market. And if we hold this blue one, then the buyers who absorb down here are holding price upside. Next target will be this VWAP here. Typo. Yeah, I was going to say NT6, mate. Get with the times. All right, team. While the market's just cooling off a bit, I'm just going to give you a bit of a heads up. Next week, I think I talked about it yesterday, but next week I'm home alone, which means I'm on dog duty in the mornings. So I will do my best to convince my dog to walk at 5:30 a.m. in the morning so I can be at my desk for the open with you. There is a small chance that I might be late some days. There is a small chance that I might need to leave a little early some days next week. Hopefully it won't affect it. If I can get her in a good pattern to walk at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., no harm done. But I'm just making you aware. I don't have a backyard. All right, so I live in Los Angeles in a gated community, and we have like a shared garden. So take her for a drag. Yeah, that's basically what it will be. She's normally pretty good, but it's just a heads up in case one day you're like, where is he? That's all. Nvidia, yeah, Nvidia is banging on that door still of the 130. It faded off there this morning after a breakout. Reclaimed, came all the way down to the initial balance, 127.82. Finding bids now, trading back towards that. Again, it's a huge level up there. Huge level up there. Let's have a look on the market. Tesla, flat on the day. Nvidia about 1% up, just under. Meta, bouncing off its IB low, trading underneath VWAP. Might get some flushes in the market soon. Oh, here you go. This is flipping aggressive. Wow. Wow. It's got to be news again, right? What a market. Okay, yeah, it's Trump news. Funny that. Unscheduled. He told Republican lawmakers he plans to issue reciprocal tariffs as early as Friday. So it's tariff news. Yay! Fantastic. Completely out of the blue. Thanks, mate. Giving us absolutely no chance in getting involved in this. Fantastic. Thank you, Donald. All right, so looking for short continuations as we spike over 100 points on the ATR there, 163 points on the ATR. Fantastic. Really easy to trade that, isn't it? No problem at all. This is an easy market when we do that. What you will be looking at now, you will need a bounce back into IB low or previous day low, or even this. It might not give it if there's enough fear in this market. We're just drifting lower. He don't half make it hard to trade, man. He makes it so hard to trade when he just comes to the market and does that. So, like we talked about, this is the old point of control from Wednesday. If we fail this, we're going to go all the way back down to sort of 470s. We will need a pop to fade this. You cannot fade this down here. We just dumped. It's such a big ATR, I can't even see it. 160 points. All right, so here is the drive back up. It will need to stay heavy versus these levels up here. If it does not do that, it will keep squeezing. Remember, it's just a huge news event. He's just running his mouth like normal. Who knows what's going to happen? It's Donald Trump. We don't know what he's going to say or how he's going to act. What we do know is we came down to an old point of control there. Just trying to absorb it. Here's previous day low. Do we go all the way back to highs now and just pretend like he didn't say anything? Who knows? Who bloody knows? It's his market. He's in complete control. So ES reapproaching the IB here. I'd love a short continuation trade, but it's kind of hard to pull the trigger right now. Not going to lie. I'm watching this to see if they start rejecting here. Here we go. Into the IB. No, doesn't know what it wants to do. Trading back through it. So no trade here yet. Into previous low, into IB. Let's just see if this settles out for a second. It's pretty hard to risk right now. I'd say is the best thing to say. I don't mean like right this second, just in general. To put risk on, you're either gonna make a ton of money or you're gonna lose a ton of money. ES staying heavy. ES now has broken down underneath the previous day low. It's trying to reclaim previous day low and 5-day, and it's trying to move back towards its initial balance low. There is a chance for short continuation here. There is most definitely a chance for short continuation here if the market doesn't like what he's talking about. That's a big, big reaction. Where are we in relation to the IB? We're underneath the IB. The location's just a nightmare, but we are re-attacking. This was really nice here, but he does everything out the blue. My worry is he now says like, well, we'll deal with the tariffs in a month. Or it would just be like that, in a month. Made 1K on NQ, not going to touch this account. Yeah, good for you, small caps. Good stuff. So that old H1 wick was key. We never got the close above this. All right, we went wick to wick. Now you're seeing like the pump back up. I still think this has the chance to fade. It's just like, how do you risk right now versus this? ES not at its IB yet. We're at the previous day low here. If they stay heavy versus previous day low as a rough area, then maybe it washes. Otherwise, you know, a squeeze potential upside is definitely available in this market with him talking. It's just the risk parameter. Watching how it acts here into previous day and the flow zones. We're trying to reclaim the IB low. So if this is a failed auction underneath, we can go all the way back up to here. If they keep this heavy somewhere in here, we can have another attempt to go lower. He's absolutely bonkers, mate, isn't he? Can you imagine being a hedge fund and like having like millions of or billions of dollars like in the market right now with the yanks that it's doing, like the push and pulls? Yeah, I know. It's hard enough to trade. I know, mate. You just have to size down and be risk adverse a little bit, you know, just be very, very cautious with how you trade right now. ES coming back towards the IB. What did he tweet? He tweeted about, well, he said, I read the tweet. Hang on a second. Let me just watch this carefully in case we reject flow zones here. Watching in case they want to do a breakdown here. Watching the IB low, watching the flow zones. ES back to previous day low. Watching for a wash here if they are going to let it go. No, they don't want to. All right, let's just read you this tweet. He said, Trump told Republican lawmakers he plans to issue reciprocal tariffs as early as Friday. So tariffs will come into play as early as Friday. That's what spooked the market. I assume he means next Friday and not today. Yeah, nice work, Peter. Again, lovely work. The man's on fire. Caught the shorts with me this morning. Lovely work. Still think this market can break down. It's starting to reject sort of this blue zone here. Every time we're coming back up to it, it's starting to reject it. If they're going to let it go, it has a chance to move. Oh, let me move this on the screen. All the way down to here. Yeah, if they're going to let this go. ES didn't get to its IB high there. It got close. They want to short near low of day, though. He doesn't even know what he means. As in reciprocal. Is that what you're talking about, Jack? Some absorption here on the tape. There's a buy down at 600. It should be underneath that last low. Problem is he can say anything right now. I like the idea of a short here, but it's just so hard to flip and pull this trigger. This bounce was probably decent. Yeah, it's a really good bounce. Right into the 61. That was really good bounce into those flow zones. And these, look at these buyers now. This anchored view up. These buyers are now becoming sellers. This should really just drip down lower now. He's just made it very, very hard to get involved. Hey, Alex, with daily sweeping both previous day highs and lows, what's the next thing to look for? Next thing will be just next leg down. All right, so on a higher time frame. Once it's not just the sweep. All right, so the lows are here. If we stay heavy against those, then you're looking for next leg down. Where did buyers next step in? So this point of control and then next leg down into this pool, all right, into next pool of liquidity. If it stays heavy, if it reclaims it, then we go back to this level here where these buyers became sellers. Yeah, so you're just trading back and forth. That's all the market's ever doing. So we can make this now red. Right, this is where those buyers became sellers. Right, so we're going to make them red. All the time we stay heavy versus like levels in here, we can expect liquidity to be built for this. If we reclaim it, we expect to go back upside into this level. That's all the market does. And then it's finding a good area to get involved for those moves. No worries. Wondering if I should have attacked that last pop into 23s. Remember, 700's been key the last few days. Liquidity is still a bit thin on the book, right? So that it looks like everyone else is also scared. It's probably not just me, right? So you've got a buy down at 600, but each side of the tape, very, very thin. A good chance for this to move lower. Location not good now. I needed this move here. Probably hesitated this move here. 1, 2. This was it. Bang. Previous day low versus this. Bang. Partial here and then into this. And, I've probably missed it. So having to not FOMO into this now. Here it comes. It's starting to drift now. All right, give me a second, team. While I've got FOMO in my veins right now, I'm going to get a coffee. Stop myself hitting any buttons. Okay. James, Financial Juice. So if you're in the Discord room, I don't know if you're in the Discord room. Sorry, I don't know everyone's name in there now. The newsfeed pulls from Financial Juice. You can just have it up on a browser, but I have it so it sets alerts into the newsfeed in my Discord, and then that pops up in the bottom right of my screen. Obviously, I don't get it quite as quick as a Bloomberg terminal, clearly, because they get it 5-10 seconds before me. Because the move happens, and then I see the alert. How are we doing on stream, team? You guys all green? Hopefully you're all green on the session. Almost there. 3 more likes and we're there. Some green, some red. Green, yeah. I'm up pretty nice. Always look at charts like this and think I should be up more, but I'm just trading my Apex accounts. I can just show you through here. So just all green in here, just trading one at a time at the moment. I want to get them well past the buffer. My aim is to get them all to around 10,000 in profit, take a small payout, and then put them with my my brain can't think today. Put them with my other accounts so I don't have to worry about the trailing drawdown and start to have some set and forget type trades. Didn't see it? Oh. Here you go. Yeah. So these are all PA accounts. This is why you never long below VWAP. Yeah, it's a good rule. And this anchored VWAP from here, these sellers are stuck. These buyers have become sellers. Blue line, they've become sellers now. So we tap back into the anchor from the previous low. They've now stuck. We're building out new range here again. I still think this can drift lower. ES keeps rejecting its initial balance, right? Keeps rejecting the IB. I just don't like the look on the book right now. The book, it looks thin. It looks really, really thin. I don't like trading a thin book. I don't trade news for that reason. I like having thick liquidity. I want to know if I've got my stop in, then it's going to get filled where I put my stop in, not miles away. This is literally bugger all on the book now from like 37, then you got a gap towards 50, and then move to 62, and then sort of 70s. And on the bigger orders, you're looking at 800, 850, 900, 950, 22K. I want to see the book thicken up a little bit. Thin, like not many orders. If you imagine, how can I explain this? If you imagine about pressure, right? Pressure. So let's say price is in the middle, and we got sellers here and buyers here. You want that to be a decent amount of sellers and buyers, so that if you put your stop in, you've got someone else protecting you, right? So you would get filled, right? So let's say you're a buyer here, your price is here, and you're looking to sell up here, and it rolls over. You want to know that there's lots of buyers in and around where you are or underneath, because if there aren't, right, if there's nothing to stop the price keep going down very, very quickly. So when you get the big news events like this, because the liquidity becomes thin and it just goes slices through everyone really quick. So you'll stop, you could have been a buyer here, you'll stop here, and you might get filled down here. By the time it fills that order, it gets filled down there. So you want to know that the book's nice and thick and chunky. No, Ty. The anchor VWAP's got nothing to do with the IB low at all. It's just to do with when we put this low in. In fact, I didn't even put it in, right? This is thanks to Coop. Otherwise, I wouldn't have seen this. I had an anchored VWAP off the high. Traditionally we always do an anchored VWAP off low of day. So we thought this might be low of day. If they kept holding this and got a close above this, remember we'd get this move here. They never closed above. So these buyers, once it came through here, look how much they got slipped. Big time slipped. So now these buyers are becoming sellers. So you could do another anchor off the current low of day. The reason I'm like chilling out right now is we're just trading in between initial balance now. We're just rotating IB. ES cannot get a close above initial balance. There is still a trend day scenario here setting up. Yeah, absolutely, Ty. You could be like, okay, well, let's see where current buyer's average price is. Boom. Okay, this is current buyer's average price from this low. So they need to protect this low, which is also, we could also do this. We could go, where is the current sellers from that newsprint? It's in the same spot. All right, so it's sellers from the news who chase down, and buyers from there have the same print right now. All right, so big level here. I prefer downside because momentum is telling me downside. Right. High created this low, pullback, internal, internal, internal. We still expect lower prices. All right, technically, until it takes out this from a technical point of view, because this isn't a lower low, so we can't use this as the pivot. We expect lower prices right now. If we stay heavy versus IB as well, that will help the thesis for lower prices. You've got to be very careful with the range. This ATR is pretty high right now. Couldn't that also create a vacuum that would suck price down in it and make it difficult to get out of? Sorry, mate, I've probably read that too late. What are you talking about there? And then I'll go over how I would, what my thought process is. Can you be a bit more specific there, Big Pun? Which candle was I talking about when you said that? Still think there's a breakdown coming here. Very, very possible to go and make new lows on this session. You talked about the book being thin out on news drops. Okay, so when I was saying the book's thin out news drops, you said, couldn't that also create a vacuum that could suck price back in, would make it difficult to get out of? I'm trying to understand what you mean. So I was talking about the book being thin here and coming all the way back down, and you're saying to suck price back into it. Suck price back into it this way. You're thinking if it's thin, it should go back into it. I mean, that is what an imbalance is. Right, it's what an imbalance is. Yeah, it should reprice back inside this imbalance to fill more sell orders to go lower, if that's what you're talking about. My point was that it's more about the stop. It's about, let's say you're a buyer here and your stop is here. If the book is thin and you've got your limit stop here, or market stop here, sorry, it might fill you down here because it happens so quick. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't need to come back and reprice the imbalance. Absolutely should reprice part of it to go lower, of course. That's the whole thesis on imbalance candles. We did a 61 retrace in this imbalance before trying to break down lower. So we're basing out now. I still think this can build this to come and break down to here versus initial balance low, previous day low. Reclaim this and we start squeezing. Does that make sense? Again, this would be like that candle earlier. If we go to 1 second chart, there was the big death candle. Here we go. And this is no different to what we talked about earlier. Same result. Let's say you're a buyer, breakout buyer for some reason, and you got your stop in here. Okay, this, even if it slipped you by 1 second, even if it took you a second to fill, you got slipped by 50 points there. If it ran quick eating all those buy orders, wouldn't it leave a vacuum above it? You mean here, if it runs low, eating buy orders, buy stops are sell orders, right? If these are the buyers, these are the sell orders. If the book's thin, there's not much buying pressure here. There's no buyers in here, is what I'm saying, if the book's thin. So it keeps selling down. So what you've got now is sellers want to be involved and the market needs to reprice some of this. So it's trying to move upside to reprice it. To sell lower. Everything same theory. Every market. It's got nothing to do with the Qs. Every market same theory. If a book is thin and it trades through everything, you can get slipped. Like, that's it. If it leaves a huge imbalance there, market will want to reprice some of that imbalance to get people back in before continuing in the same direction. If it fully reprices it, then it's strength, right? If it fully reprices this whole thing, if it comes all the way back up here, then we've repriced this whole thing, and buyers are absolutely in control again, because this is an imbalance where we got thin and we traded through it. To be efficient, it's think about it like a gap, right? Market wants to fill the gap and then see if it backtests it to go lower. If it fills it all the way through, we go all the way back upside. That feels like news again here. Volume spike. Look at the volume spike. It feels like news again there. So there you go. Filling that imbalance all the way up towards this level remains key. Previous day point of control. Old hourly wick. VWAP. Previous day high. Everything's there. How it acts here is key. In terms of structure, if it starts doing this, we can think about longs up here for rotation up. If it stays heavy here, don't mind thinking about the short, but we're protecting that IB. This looks like a failed auction down here. ES also trading inside its initial balance now. So VWAP probably the target on some of these. Is there more news hitting? Probably. Is anyone following Trump on his Twitter? He's just posted a picture of him and Elon, and I don't know, is that RFK? I don't know who that is next to him, wearing like giant hats. Yeah. That's the game right there, mate. You've just summed it up. Testing my patience. I don't know if you were on stream yesterday. I was getting really pissed off because it was testing my patience. That is what the market wants to do. Market's whole aim is to frustrate you. It wants to frustrate you. It wants to force you to chase. It wants you to be like, I'm thinking about the short. I'm thinking about the short. I need to wait for it. And then it does this, and it's like, and then you're like, oh, fuck it. Right, I'm taking that short. Stop out. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, I'm taking it again. Stop out. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm getting destroyed now. Take it again. Stop out. Okay, I'm done. Max pain. Full tilt. Add, and hope. Yeah, that's literally what the market wants to do. That's why it's built the way it is. It knows what it's doing. It's very, very clever. You have to have patience. We're now in IB rules, right? So we either auction outside of here for continuation lower, must get outside of here for this move, or we fail auction and trade back into here. It is still holding demand after sweeping. Remember, all we've done is really sweep. But if we continue to sell this area here, then I really think there's a possibility for a leg down. Most of the volume on the day now is at 749. So in this last push. So we rejected point of control on the day now, which is about here. All right, so it's a big node here. And let me just put this in. 749. There's your POC. This is the big volume area. This is key. This is the battleground here. Previous day and current day. So ES, all right, ES is bouncing between the 5-day moving average, the previous day low, and the initial balance low. NQ is doing the same. It's dancing between its 5-day moving average in the demand block and its IB low and its point of control. Right, these are big, big levels, big levels. This is not tiny, tiny intraday levels. These are massive daily levels here. This is important. We can absolutely, I'm just looking at the daily now. We can absolutely base out here. On the daily chart, we can definitely base out here. If we back test and hold this sort of level here, we are setting ourselves up for this rotation in the next week or two. Failure of these levels, you have a gap fill down to here with a closed candle I'm talking about, and then a rotation to come and sweep everything out here. So this is your balance level, I would say. If we think about this whole range, have a look from last week, last Friday's high to the low. Yeah, 50% would be into that gap. I think the market will want to hold this downside bar from last Friday, base it up there and hold it. But every pop here has failed. Look, 1, 2, 3. They start letting go here. There is a chance for that rotation down, but it's just location so tough right now. Location for the short was so much better up here. Remember, this is like 200-300 points higher. What's Bill saying? Not seeing anything from him. Oh, on Uber. Uber had a nice recovery, didn't it? I think it's back to 70s. Yeah, it's a great recovery. Big recovery. I like Uber long term. My friend is long in this from 33s. I've been helping him with his own account. He was long here. He was actually gifted these shares. I think he was long here. He's gifted these shares because he was working with them. I think all the time Uber holds this range here. It's an early company. For me, this is still a growth stock. It has huge upside potential long term in the market. So I really like Uber long term. I think it looks great. So market looking like it's trying to break down out of this bear flag here. It's definitely what it looks like. The question is, does it keep absorbing and absorbing and absorbing? It's got higher highs and higher lows on a very low time frame. If you move up time frames, it looks heavy. Again, you have to watch the ATR. The ATR is massive. Where are we at? 31 on the ATR. I just had to load that up to have a look. Jesus. They stay heavy under these areas, then there is a chance for, very simply, this kind of move here. If they start reclaiming this, squeeze up. I don't love anything right now. I would lean more short bias just based on the higher time frame, but we're in demand. It's holding on. Trump is talking. Like, if they start snapping, it will become nice and clear and obvious, I think. If it starts breaking under 50s and starts wanting to puke and rotate. VIX is starting to spike. VIX is starting to get going through previous day high here. Maybe we do get this rotation now. Tempting, isn't it? There we go. Go on, let it go then. If you're going to do it, I'll join. But if you're not going to do it, I'm not interested. Yes, looks like it wants to do it. I want to see one more pop up and it gets slammed for me to really have an interest in this. What's on the book? 650 and then 600. Right, 650 is where the buyer is, and then 600. Be careful they don't do a bear trap down here. Underneath that pivot low of 55s. Last push was pretty good. That's what you're looking at. All the time it's under IB, you've got a chance for a rotation lower. Press conference is supposed to start in 1 minute, isn't it? I think that's right. Or it might start at the top of the hour and maybe signing exec orders in 1 minute. What's up, Idris? Let's see what you said. The press conference. So 11:30, Trump signs exec orders and then speaks at 1 Central Time. So 9. Hang on, what Central Time? I'm trying to get my head around that. So 11:30 and then. Yeah, so now Trump press conference 11:30, then signs the orders later in the day. Sorry, I just had to reread that again. So press conference right now. Okay, definitely not trading this then. Don't see anything hitting the wire here. How long we got left? Half an hour left, team. Half an hour left. Maybe I'll get a video done this weekend. My wife's away for a week, so I'm going to have some time on my hands. So maybe this weekend I'll do some videos for you, some educational stuff. Slowed right down, hasn't it? Slowed right down. What's everyone's plans this weekend? Anyone doing anything good? My weekend is going to be taken up by watching the Six Nations rugby again. England, France, Le Crunch. Bit worried about this game. I'll be honest. Playing Marcus Smith at 15. It's a bold call under the high ball. But we've got some exciting backs. We'll just see how we go. That French team is incredible. Watching basketball. Who are you watching this weekend? Starting to possibly break here. It's starting to try and break down here. It's just if this is a trap sweep down here. ES on 6,006 and 6,065. Big level. Let me have a look. From what you're saying, from fourth. Yeah. 6,000 all the way down to 50s where we hit that low. If you look at Tuesday the 4th, the 4-hour candles, the transitions, 4th of Feb, the 10 a.m. to the 2 a.m., that transition, right, of the close to open, that's a big level there for sure. For sure. Oh, women's new 3v3 league. Oh, that's cool. I think I remember you talking about that before, BU. I have to check that out. Super Bowl, yeah, Super Bowl. Hopefully no Kansas City Chief fans in here. I cannot stand them. I can't stand them. I think I hate them as much as I hate Tottenham, and that is saying something. I hope they get absolutely torn a new one. Luckiest team going. These guys are gifted wins for fun. Absolute joke. I hope Eagles absolutely rip on them. So if I've upset anyone, good. Lifelong KC fan here. Sorry to hear. I can't stand them, man. Like, the amount of stuff they get away with is crazy. The flopping, the, like, incitement, like, all of it. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But, you know, I'm really pissed off with the Rams right now. Trading Cooper Cup. I just don't get it. I do not get it. What are we doing? What are we doing trading Cooper Cup? Makes no sense to me. Maybe I'm stupid and know nothing, but it makes no bloody sense to me, that trade. Someone else explain that to me. Market looks like it wants to wash here. The question is it the trap? It looks like it wants to wash lower here. I'm having a little stab at this. Small size. Needs to stay heavy versus 50 here, otherwise I'm not interested. To reject these wicks or not. I'm not sure. It feels like it wants to fade. Stop in the money now already. I'm not messing around with this in case. Bills fan here from Texas. Def have our number in playoffs. So it's so sad to see, isn't it? I thought the Bills were going to do it this year. I thought, like, you know, this was Josh's time. Mahomes is adorable. Yeah, if you like Kermit the Frog, I guess so. Yeah, I get that, Crawford. I never really realized that until I moved to America, how the teams move around so much. And now I understand why, like, college games are so big, because you can be a fan for life, whether you grow up in that town or you go to school there or whatever. It's never going to move. It's really weird to me that you have these flagship teams move. Like, I went to the first ever game at the SoFi when they're like post COVID, when the first game that they allowed fans in, and it was, who was it? Cowboys Chargers. There was no Charger fans there. None. Absolutely none, because they're being asked to, like, drive too far, right? It like, I find it weird. Obviously, for me, I grew up in London, like, football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. Big time Arsenal fan. Like, you live and breathe your club. Like, that club, it might move a little bit when you get a new stadium, but it's not moving far, like 10, 15 minutes on a tube. Like, we're not moving states or across state or whatever. It's crazy that to me. They did it in rugby. My rugby team that I support, Wasps, they moved up to Coventry and stopped supporting them. So I get it. Like, I was just like, I'm not driving 5 hours at the weekend to go and watch them. There's no way I'm doing that. Market still feels like every push is starting to fail here for a new low. Like, it's trappy and washy, but it feels like it's got potential. It's too early yet. But yeah, I understand that. I understand that frustration. They let go of this micro bear flag, it might cause the flush. It's just, the question is if this is the trap level here. It's Very, very, very tight, I would say. Book's starting to thicken up underneath. Are they trying to support the bids, or are they going to pull these and just let it all go here? There's like 100 lots starting to stack up underneath, interestingly. Something's going to happen here soon. Not going to hover here all day. We either get big relief or big wash. Chiefs get less calls than the Bills. Look at the facts. Can't blame them. I don't. Sorry, Noah. I'm impartial, but I don't believe that for a minute. You get away with all sorts. Kelsey should have got in trouble last game for talking shit the way he did. Mahomes flops all the time and gets away with it. The game before that, you had a guy offside on the kicker. There's loads. I don't believe that. Sorry, and I'm impartial. I don't support either of those teams, but I don't believe that personally. I am impartial. Like, it's not like I support the Bills. I don't support the Bills. Like I don't think Mahomes gets more calls than gets less calls going his way than the Bills. What brought me to the States? Wife took a job here. I don't care. I got my dreamboat scenario, right? I moved to here. Mahomes a flopper. I mean, Allen a flopper. The guy, that dude takes contact properly. I don't believe that. But hey, whatever, man. I don't care. I got lucky. When I moved here. Lakers won the NBA. It was the COVID one, but in the bubble, but they won it. Rams won. LAFC won. And Dodgers won. All since I moved here within like the first 2 years. It's crazy. Crazy. Hey, look, Noah, mate, you might be laughing by Monday, mate. You might, get your three-peat. So we can all eat our words, can't we? You'll be able to laugh in our faces, and rightly so if you get three in a row. Rightly so. 20 minutes till lunch. It's still building liquidity down here. It's interesting. This IB low, like, do they reject this and roll it? Is this accumulation underneath this low? Is it one of these for accumulation and go? It's just a little bit messy now. It's becoming a bit more non-directional. I still favor the short side. The location isn't good, but just in terms of how it looks, I still favor the short side. Yeah, go Chargers. Well, maybe Cooper Kupp can go to the Chargers because he wants to stay in LA. I'd love to see him stay in LA. You got more than a chance, man. No, you got a big chance, haven't you? You got to be favourites, right? Going into this. I'm interested for the halftime show as well. That's one thing I will be watching this year. I still think LA Super Bowl a few years ago had the best halftime show. That was so good with like 50 and everyone. That was awesome, man. They're having another go. This just looks so messy here. Are they going to just drop it or what? Just building internal liquidity both sides of the range. I really feel like this wants to just tank really, really hard and they're just not letting it go. Watching 625, 612, 600 all on the bid there. Feels like they're just going to yank this. No selling pressure above. They're just on the bid here trying to absorb it. I can just see them stacking up. 637, 625, 612, 600. They're just looking to absorb anything that washes down into that. It's just whether they yank it down into them or not. Yeah, I get what you're saying. get what you're saying. Ironclad, welcome aboard, mate. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining. Hit that subscribe button. Monday to Friday here from pre-market. Normally start around 9:15 all the way through to lunch. We're just chilling right now. If you're joining and wondering why we're chilling, we took, what did we take? I called the squeeze, didn't take the squeeze, but we took this short here down to here into news, wait for this news to come, and then re-attack this down into the lows. And now we've been waiting. Would have loved to have taken that, but who can guess that Trump's going to say a statement? So now we're just waiting for liquidity to be built. Probably done for the day, up pretty good on the day. Not amazing, but good. Had a big old day yesterday, so we chilling right now. Miguel, Jet Super Bowl champs for 30-50. What's happening with Aaron Rodgers over there? I haven't really seen or heard what's going on there. Is he going to be let go? I watched the Rodgers documentary. I thought it was really good, actually. I really, really enjoyed that. Quite like him as a person, having watched that. Into his, what should we call it? Medicinal mushroom use. No news on it yet. Yeah, I know. The spam bot's so over the top, isn't it? Right, so we're building so much liquidity. Like I said, if you look at the book, there's a ton of buyers stacked here looking to get filled on this. That's why I think the market wants to. I just feel like it's got one of these in it soon. But it's just building this range up. We're underneath IBL. Technically, we're in a potential trend day down. If we sell through this, we can attack down into this. I favor the downside here. Location's not ideal, but just in terms of how we're looking, I favor the downside for the structure. But we're getting close to lunch. Trump's supposed to be talking. You would need to be covering into the current lows, though. Your H1 low down here, because they can sweep and turn that. I do feel like there's just a nasty little yank coming on this market like this. It's trying to yank it now. Here we go. I'm taking a little piece of this, trailing it down. If we can expand underneath that H1 low, it'd be pretty good for the rest of the day. Here we go. Let's go, team. So in this short, partial, looking for that break of the lows. But how did he know? How did he know? Looking good here. Quick question. In a completely trending market, what's the max amount of contracts to trade? Based on your account size and based on your ads. So Idris, the way I will do it is I'll add heavier once we get a confirmation. We haven't had one of those markets for a little while, but let's say I was short my original position here of 1. All right, and we got down to here, and I was like, yeah, feels good, break of structure, adding another one. So average cost now is 2, right? And then we start to snap. So maybe I can add some position in this liquidity if it wasn't news. 3, 4, average position now probably up here, right? And we wash down, and I'm covering probably 3 of those contracts here, bounce back up, maybe adding 1. My position now will be here as an average. Back down, cover 1. Now I'm holding 1 more. That last add was here, so this is my last one on, because your first one in, first one out, right? So now I have to protect this. So, and when we get back out here, break even on that last one, for example. I wouldn't be adding too heavy. Like yesterday, I think you're in Discord, Idris. Yesterday, that big day that I posted, that was 3 contracts. Might have been 4 at one point. 3 contracts. Yeah, lovely BU. Yeah, it's a nice trade, wasn't it? We would have rather, we said we'd rather it came to this out here. This is nice because this is a sweep of H1, right? And then either the new H1 bar in lunch expands under, or it sweeps it and trades all the way back upside and starts taking some of these guys out. I expect it really to come and sweep this level here, the last H1 bar. It should come and really take this out and then either do this or into this pool down here. I mean, even that move, whether you took it here or here, whatever you took, it's good money. These are big moves. They look small, but these are big moves. They're 50-point moves. I still think you take this low out, right? I still think we're taking this low out. What we're trying to do. Just don't add too late in this. Don't add too late in this. Protect your profits a little bit. But ES rejecting and SPY rejecting previous day low. We're underneath the initial balance low. We are in a trend day lower scenario until it proves otherwise. We'll want to see lower prices. Yeah, definitely. Even on 150k, don't need more than 3 or 4. That's a lot. I normally trade one and I'll do one ad. But like if there's a scenario where I think, okay, we've got 500-600 point expansion to go to, and I can have really low risk and add on the way out once I'm comfortable with my size, locking in some money, it becomes easier. It's definitely easier to do that as well if you're trading on like Tradeify, direct funded, or if you're on Apex and you're past the threshold, right? Because then you can move your stop break even and chill, right? If you're up 30, 40, 50 points and you've got 3 contracts on, you can put your stop break even. You're not worried then about it coming back on you. If you're adding into winners early on in your Apex journey or any journey with trailing drawdown, it gets tricky because if that first ad goes against you quickly or pops up and then goes against you, your trailing drawdown will get hurt quick. Exactly, BU. If you're trading 50k, micros, not minis. Micros, not minis. When I trade my 50ks on micros, I'm normally starting 2 or 3, and I'll add up to 12, or add up to a total size of 12 if it's really starting to firm up for me. But 2 or 3 micros, right? You're looking at $20 per 10 points, so you're looking at $60 every 10 points. That adds up real quick, real quick. We're getting 100-point moves easy in this market. Definitely don't need more than micros on the 50k. So here you go. This is searching for this level that we talked about. I expect it to come and take this out for the H1. We're coming into that new bar in 10 minutes. Please make sure you take a cover here and then hold your runners. You can get all the way down here if it wants to let go. A lovely trade to end the day here. Looking really good. Look at the flow zones, right? Just supporting price action to the downside. Here's your initial balance rejection. Right, so we popped up, rejected, point of control, back down under, liquidity, 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 rejection, and we're trying to drift into this now. The snap of this, you might get a liquidity run lower. Do not add short down here. Please don't add short down here. Take some profits. Or I wouldn't advise adding short. Maybe we should put it that way. If you want to take that liquidity break short, by all means do it if that's how you trade, but it's just not how I trade. Like, here you go. So there's your break. You should have taken some profit into that move. Holding runners now in case it wants to expand lower, but the easy target has happened. ES seems to be soaking pretty well. I'm thinking sweep and pop scenario that you outlined for a few moments ago on ES. Let's have a look. It's coming down towards that low, so if you're short, definitely taking covers. It's into sort of key levels here. If it lets go of this on ES, though, it can trade all the way down to sort of 6,030 fairly quickly. I've got a bit of a mean reversion here on the ES coming back towards its 20-day. Market gets a little bit thin here. Right, so if we don't pop here, then we can get a trade back down into the low 500s, and then if we get lucky, we come all the way down into 450s, but should be risk off scenario here. Have I always been a Rams fan? I wasn't really anything fan. I watched NFL back in the UK, but I wasn't a fan. So I went to the first ever game at Wembley, which was, I want to say it was Giants someone. It was the worst game ever. I don't think there was one touchdown. It was soaking wet. they were using like the soccer pitches, the football, the players were just slipping everywhere. It was terrible. But I liked watching NFL. But yeah, it's for me, it's just about location. I live close to the SoFi. I'm not far. With no traffic, probably like 20-minute drive. Yeah, it was really bad. But it's the same here. When I go and watch the soccer here, as in when the Premier League teams come. Like I've watched Arsenal the last few years. First game was good. I watched Arsenal Barcelona. That was a great game at SoFi. This year I went and watched Arsenal Man United. Terrible. Worst atmosphere ever. No one sings. No one cheers. It's just silent. What's your trading journey, Alex? How did I get started? How long did I lose for? Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. So my journey is probably a bit different to most. So after university, I wanted to be a trader. Thought about being a trader. And I went and interviewed in Dubai and Cairo for a job with a couple banks there, and got offered a job and was very, very close to taking it, and then fell into the music industry, and everything just took a different journey, and ended up my passion for music, being a producer and DJ and artist, took over, and I had a really nice career doing that for quite a long time, for well over a decade, 15 plus years. And then while I was doing that, I was doing fairly well. So I was earning some decent money and always liked the markets, and decided, yeah, I'll have a little flutter with this, and had no fucking clue what I was really doing. Even though I'd studied some of it, and, you know, I'd read like market wizards even in my 20s. We're talking almost 20 years ago now. And then it's just really throwing money down the pan, to be honest. So I started studying it more and more, did the usual thing, found some courses, tried doing courses, realized most of them were scams, and started to take it more and more seriously. Originally, I was more of a swing trader. So here you go. Just, sorry, quickly, guys. This is starting to reclaim after taking this H1 liquidity. All right, so I'm just going to show you quickly. I'll get straight back to that. I'm not going to finish the story. Here's your H1 wick. If it reclaims this, trades back inside, these levels become key. If it trades back inside, we go all the way up to here. Okay, just so you're aware for the rest of the day. Still in a downtrend, but just so you know. Where did I get back to? Where was I up to? Music career, throwing money down the train. Oh yeah, so did a few courses, had some money in the markets, started to learn, started to understand a little bit more. And then started to get more and more serious. Now, I started I wasn't winding down my music career, but I'd say like 6-7 years ago, I wanted something else. So I owned a record label, which I sold to Sony. I'd been on the road touring for over a decade. I was tired. I never got to see my wife. I loved it, but I just had the appetite to do something else. So I started learning more and more and more. And then COVID, I moved here to Los Angeles a week before COVID happened. I went back to do a show in Manchester. I was playing a DJ show in Manchester. And while I was there, COVID hit. So I was the last flight allowed back into Los Angeles. That year, I had a tour. I had a tour of Southeast Asia and Australia. Lost that tour. Obviously lost any touring in Europe, couldn't get back to Europe. I was now stuck in America. I didn't have a work visa in America. I was just on a spouse visa. Here's your H1. Just be aware. I'm guessing there's some potential news. Just be aware now. Be careful. Here's your drive back up after sweeping liquidity. Be very, very careful here, team. I can see volume stepping in here. The book's completely thinned out. There's literally nothing on the book other than a buyer at 600. So just be careful, assuming Trump's talking or something. So yeah, I was stuck in Los Angeles. I then couldn't tour. All right, I didn't have my visa. I used to have a P1 visa. I hadn't renewed it before I came here because I didn't know. I originally, when we moved here, I was going to live. We own a house in London. I was going to live between London and here, so I was going to travel back and forwards every few weeks. That didn't work out, obviously, because they shut the borders. So then I couldn't work and I couldn't travel, and I lost my ability to tour. I lost the record sales with our record label went down the pan because most of our sales are done to DJs. DJs weren't touring anymore, so it really like hit me hard. I lost a lot. Mentally, it was very, very tough. So I was like, well, I'm going to put my energy into something else I love, which is trading, and it gave me a good opportunity to do that because I didn't have the distraction. So I really like went full send, and really focused on small caps. Did a lot of rooms, learnt a fair amount while I was there, adding to the knowledge I already had. If I didn't mention, sorry, my dad's a trader as well, and my best mate was at Morgan Stanley and and then head of metals at Standard Bank, and has now trades his own book. So was always in and around it. Sorry, just watching this H1 here. Be careful here. Either this expands violent. So Trump signs order amending duties on imports from China. Just be careful here. There's big news hitting the wire. Yeah. So then did lots of courses. Was doing lots of small caps, and then we had a private room. I think there was about 10 of us in there. Some of them still trade. About 2 or 3 traders from S&B. A couple guys who now run their own small little private communities, still trading small caps. We had a really good run in there. It was really nice, but it started to probably get a bit too big. Too many people were joining who weren't part of like the original crew. It got a bit like, look what I'm doing, look how much money I'm making, blah, blah, blah. Whereas like originally it was very much like we'd assess the market together. We'd all lean on the market at the same time. You know, we had we had a subscription to Ross Cameron. We would take the opposite position to him because we knew he was pumping shit stock. So once he started to exit on the tape, we'd start slamming in short. We were very short based. We were only short based. It was good fun. It was good fun for a while. Made some good money doing that. Started to move away from small caps into the large caps. With a few guys, used to still in contact with a lot of these guys on Twitter who do really well. Guys like Ricky and C and guys like that, if you know them. And then found my way into futures. I didn't love rotating between so many stocks. I found it like pretty exhausting. And I just wanted to focus. So I started, before futures, I was more focused on trading S&P for a while. And I came completely offline. I just traded my own book for probably the best part of a year. I then got into futures, and then that was probably 3 or 4 years ago now. 3 years ago, maybe. There's no option to donate. Why not? I never took that away. Give me a second. Let's have a little look. Hey. Let's have a look. Where am I going? Sorry, mate. I'm just having a look. Community. Better be earn. Everything should be turned on. Supers and gifts. Oh yeah, it's taking it off. I don't know why. Hang on. I don't know if it will update today, but it should be turned on now. There we go. I think everything's on now. Down to 600. Yeah. Is he still on the tape? Sorry, I got distracted there. Yeah, they filled most of those guys. There's a few guys on the tape 600 to sort of 90, and then down to 550s. Let me have a look on this H1. Fill in this imbalance. What is this old value area low? 5 into 567. We get a little bit thicker, and then we can drift lower into 470s on the H1. Marek, not like before. It might be that I've just turned it on, so it might take a minute. I will appreciate you looking for that. I'll figure it out next week if that hasn't worked. It might just be that it needs to like take 24 hours, you know, after I turn it on. But no worries. Appreciate you letting me know. Appreciate it, buddy. So yeah, possible drift lower here. Watching this H1 chart is going to go. Remember, you're into lunch now. We get a little thin until we get to this sort of 500. So it's a possible wash here for a back test of here. Do not be short into this, okay? Need to be short up here for a rotation down. You should be runners in this for this move. Don't get too aggressive at lows of day. Looking good. Nice breakdown so far. Maybe this old London level. What was yesterday's open? New York open, I mean. Let's have a look. $552s was New York open yesterday. That might be key. Yeah, you just tagged sub 600 there already. Happened quick. Oh, nothing capped. Absolutely nothing. It's just whether you want to support this channel. Some people, if they don't want to do the course or they just want to support the channel, they just offer membership here. All right, so most of the aim of this is done. If you're watching this H1, I would be watching these transitions here. All right, remember, we've swept these lows here. This can start pivoting up if it's ready. Remember, pivot up will come and attack back into here on the H1. Still in downtrend lower time frame. All right, there's still been no shift, but just be careful. There's tons of liquidity here, 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 here. These are all stops which can be raided. For people that chat, oh, I've done you on a wrong chart. Sorry. Stops here, double top here, this guy here, 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 here. All right. If its job was to sweep H1 and base and hold, this is your squeeze potential to come and clear out these stops. TP1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then maybe up there if you get really lucky. VWAP's down here. Reclaim of initial balance. All shorts are off the table, remember. But so far, you remain in a downtrend, right? This is your deep flow zone pullback. This is your pivot to this low. Right, all the time it protects this, you have a chance to go lower. But just be aware you are at lows of day. You shouldn't be initiating shorts at lows of day. Do a mean 500 address. He probably just meant for a cut covers into 600 when he said it. It's probably just above. Let's have a look. Okay, thanks for anyone. The course is excellent. I'm going to revisit some sections next weekend or this weekend. Thank you, Cap. Appreciate it. Right, so there's liquidity on the book upside here. They're trying to drag it up through those stops. All right, so 675, 687, 700 all just come in the book in the last minute. All right, they're trying to lift the market up to get fills up there as sells. They're trying to cause this little squeeze. Remember, these wicks, these are all stops. If you were short, imagine you were short in the market and then you got short here. Your stop's here and then it's here. And then maybe it's here, maybe it's here. So this guy got liquidated, and now they're going to try and liquidate this guy, and if they really get going, this guy here. Remember, you have Trump talking right now, I think, and some EU stuff. I'm happy to stay here a bit longer. I'm just chilling with you guys, so it's quite nice. See what everyone's saying. $750 now on the book up top as well. 750 would be a drag all the way up into point of control. All right, so looking to sell up there if they can get it. So far, protecting this first stop. You want to be careful. If this pullback and holds and reclaims. And so far, sell continues. Leg one, leg two. We can probably measure this. We're really going to do a measured move. It's going to be down into this. Unless they measure it off the top of the expansion, maybe we're there. If we consider that leg one, chop, leg two, maybe we can consider ourselves as there or thereabouts. Still think there's more downside in this, as long as it doesn't pivot above. VIX having a bit of a pullback though. QQQ right at its 5-day right now, rejecting 5-day. Yes, also at its 5-day, trying to reject 5-day for that move to 20-day. Remember, the move on the daily between the 20-day and the 5-day is where we chop around. The move on the daily in here is where we build liquidity. Right? These are liquidity building zones in this. We will get a trend if the 5-day starts supporting price and we expand the Bollinger up. We can support price up. If we get a 5-day, 20-day cross, we come all the way back down to here. This looks very unlikely right now for anything like that. This feels like a pullback to go higher right now for me. Left equal highs here. I don't mean necessarily higher today, but maybe we protect this and maybe we go. What would be nice today would be to close here and go Monday, Tuesday morning, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A big dreamboat scenario next week. Marek, thank you. Thank you so much. Very kind. Marek with a super chat. Do I take those H1 sweeps at these bottoms? What do you mean, do I take them? Do I take them? Do you mean, do I take partials into them? I don't long them. There's something I watch, but I don't long them. Right? You don't long without a structure change, but I'm very aware. When I'm short up here, I'm very aware that this is the H1 low, so I'm covering in that because I'm expecting after H1 does this, if it breaks and holds here, then this is the squeeze back up. That's a probable move because then we're repricing some H1 and then maybe it retests back down. But I'm expecting after the break of structure of an H1, a little liquidity move back upside. It's very, very, very common. We can go over that. Even yesterday did the same. Numerous times. Every time. There was only one day this week where I was looking for H1 sweep and it didn't come before going upside. It went without it. Yeah, I never just long them. Yeah, but like once we've done this, this is a low, like it's a low-ish risk long. It's not great because we haven't flipped yet, but this has met target. If this trades inside, now we've got liquidity here, liquidity here, liquidity here. Remember, this long is counter trend. So if you took long in here, you're partial here, partial here. If it firms up here, you're partial here, partial here. And then anything above that is like a home run runner, right? Because at this point, really, we're likely to just come back into the range. It really like depends on your targets and what you're looking for. But like, yeah, from here, this hold here becomes probable to at least take these out and then probably these out, to be honest. And then above this previous day low, we get into daily levels. So whether it can get through that or not will depend if up here. But we are going to likely to take out 75 soon. 75, and then that initial balance was that double top, sort of 85. Yeah, so I'd imagine we'll find a way to get up here at some point. It might need to do this first, but at the moment. It's building. Flow zones are going to flip soon and try and support this squeeze up over lunch. Remember, traders, if they were short, they're probably covering their positions into lunchtime as well. So here we go. Probably going to squeeze up, try and test that IBL. You've got some liquidity up here. They're trying to get filled from 75 all the way up to 700. Yeah. Definitely don't be longing underneath an H1 wick. That's definitely not a play. It's a cover point. It's just understanding that if we turn there and hold, that's when there's potential to move back higher. If you think about this, take this off a sec. If we think about this as structure, all right, we opened, I'm going to draw it out next to it. So from this bar here, yeah, from this big white bar, we open, we go down to the low and we close here. The next H1 opens, it goes up a little bit and goes down to the low. And then closes inside. The next H1 sweeps underneath. So shorts who are here are covering. Shorts come into the market there, trying to force it lower, breakout shorts, and we take them out the market. They're uncomfortable. What do? They start buying back, so they're covering, and then we go back towards inside this H1 range. So these areas here become important. So if we sweep here and we come back inside, there's a move into here. It doesn't mean it has to come all the way back up here. It'd have to pivot all through this. That's a whole different play, but it's likely to trade into the range for a bit. And because you get breakout traders in the market chasing lower. Remember, underneath this, it's hard to imagine. Underneath this, you get breakout shorts chasing the market, right? Whereas we were thinking about the shorts here for the move down to there, right? This is where you're being clever. These are guys chasing. Guys that chase get punished to the upside. Doesn't mean it goes up all day. It just takes them out the market first. Remember, when they cover, they're forced to buy. So then you get buy pressure, buy, and then maybe smart money pairs off that buy with a sell. Possible. I don't know. Does that make sense? Oh, yeah. Wrong chart. Wrong chart. Let's do that again. Breakout shorts here. Chase the market lower. We were short here, covering here. They've just got squeezed out. All this move up into this, right? So they're being forced to cover the breakout shorts. Once they're covered, if they get paired off, we can then maybe wash lower. You could see it, okay. And then if you pivot through these levels, we go up to attack these. So it's just where the pain is. Right now, we know breakout shorts are stuck here. This is where they got stuck. So is their stop here or is it here? If it's there, we're likely to liquidate that before the next move. Becomes less probable these whole things over lunch anyway. But we can look at the same thing. We go back to yesterday. About this yesterday. Very, very similar. Right, this was where's yesterday's range? Thursday. Yeah. Okay. Let's just go from Thursday's open, 9 o'clock. Okay, here's your H1 high. Here's your H1 low. 10 o'clock trades inside. 11 o'clock trades pretty much inside this first range, right? Inside this range. This candle here, 1 o'clock, expands above, trades inside. So we still haven't violated this big H1 level. But this candle here fails to break out, fails, and comes and sweeps all of these guys out. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and including the 7 hours of bull traders swept out the market, right? Surprisingly, it didn't take this, but it did so much damage to all these guys. So once it's taken them out, what's it going to do? Trades inside. Breakout traders entered where? Down here. Remember, this is an initial balance low here as well. Put it on very quickly so you can see the IB low. Here's your IB low. Breakout shorts, added short here. Once we trade inside, what happens? They are in pain. So what do? They cover. Where do we go? Breakout shorts. Breakout longs are up here. They're trapped. So we go all the way back up. Shorts then re-attack, and we actually base above for the rest of the day. It's just how do we raid liquidity and use it? That's all it is. We can probably do it on the day before. We'll do it every single day. There was one day this week where it didn't give a sweep, which was really annoying. This one's nice. That's your range. Breakout buyers come in. Doesn't want to let them make money, right? So it comes in. Breakout sellers come in. Still actually in a buy. And then rip. Right, so trapped sellers here. Traps buyers one time. Forces them to sell. We come down. Trapped sellers in here. These sellers panic. And we go straight back up. It's just pairing off. It's literally all it is. It's pairing off all the time. The H1 will give you like really, really good. I love the H1. You will hear me talk about H1 all the time. H1 is my guide. It's so easy to see the patterns on the H1 for me. Like, what are we doing? Do I want to be a buyer up here? Nope. Where do we go? Support. If we fail that, where do we go? Support. If we failed this, where would we go? Support. If we failed this, where would we go? Support. When did we last see that? It was only last week. It's the same scenario. Do I want to be a buyer up at supply? No. Where do we go? Support. Where do we go? Oh, flushed all the way down. Support. H1 for me is the daddy. For intraday trading, it's the daddy. Because daily can be a little hard. I use the daily levels, but daily and weekly are really good for swing trades. H1, if you're moving in and out the market in anywhere from 1 minute to an hour plus, H1 is really, really good. He used to be a breakout trader. I mean, there are moments, what I will say, Mike, is there are moments where breakout trades work. There are moments when they work. Where they work best is where a ton of liquidity is built on higher time frames. Like, I'd have to go on to NQ1 here so we can see NQ. Let's get rid of all this. All right, so where do they work? Things like this, where you've got these sort of flat tops, where you've got lots of liquidity built up here. You don't want to be short against this, right? Because we know we're going to raid them. That's where you get a breakout for a swing. Not here, because you're going to get a liquidation first. There aren't that many on this daily chart, to be honest. Here's nice. Lots of liquidity built in a range. Once you get a range, you can get a good breakout. Especially if you've had a spring. Like this range will have had a spring in it. Like a Wyckoff theory spring. If you think about this is the range. Right? This here, trap the shorts. They're looking for a breakdown underneath. We close inside. The next day we go up. Breakout longs. Shorts forced to cover. Upside. What I prefer is this. Pull back inside the range. Into a balance. Nice doji or something. Long. Continuation. Long. That's how I like to trade. Breakouts do work, but on intraday, yeah, you're asking to get slapped because the whole market just wants to take your money off you. It's its whole job. There we go. Yeah, Yulimar, everything I go over here is what I teach in the course. Every single thing. I can show you the course if you want, so you can have an idea of it. So you can see the actual curricula, because I don't really talk about this to a lot of people. I'm not a big seller. I should probably be a bit bigger seller and help you guys more. All right. Can you see this? There you go. So this is the curriculum in the course. All right. Introduction, getting set up with TradingView, like every way I would set it up. Then I go over some key principles, which a lot of people don't understand, like what is a market, what instrument to trade, fundamentals, how they affect the market. This is like macro moving events with examples, basic technicals, types of orders, order types, candlesticks, like advanced candlesticks, what we're looking at, types of markets and structure, support and resistance, right? S&R, so you can really understand S&R properly. Stops, how to use stops, how to place them. Then into more S&R, trend line S&R. Then into pattern recognition. Then into supply and demand. Then into imbalances in the market. Then advanced market structure. Then multi-time frame market structure, so you can understand when I'm talking about pro trends and stuff. And identifying liquidity, the market maker models, what they use. These are daily and weekly models that I use every single week. Key levels, so you understand how to use key levels. All the indicators I use and how to use them. How to see traps. How to understand premium and discount of range. How to understand and use the initial balance. Multi-time frames, when to play. Okay, what to play and when to play it. Trading setups, the pro trend. These are my favorite setups that I look to take every day when possible. It's where I make all my money. Pullback masterclass, counter trend and reversals, when to play those and how to play them. Trading in consolidation and range, initial balance trading, and then putting all of the above together so you understand it. And then I go very specifically over trading futures, relative strength, relative weakness, risk and reward, into psychology section, common mistakes, and then everything in the chat room and stuff, right? So it's super in depth. It's not like a an hour course. It's in depth. It's a lot, and it's over 20 hours. It's over 20 hours long. All right, so it will really, really help. All right, Trump's still talking here. What we're seeing, he's talking about Zelensky now. I can see. Auto tariffs will always. Oh my god. You aren't going to believe what's happened. I walked into my wife's bathroom this morning, half asleep, and she has left her wax out, and it is on my legs and pulling my hair off right now. And I've only just felt it. All right. Hilarious. All right, Trump, auto tariffs always on the table. I will be meeting with President Xi. Probably. I will be talking to Putin. The US is looking for security of rare earths. There's no rush on Gaza. I expect to talk to Zelensky next week. I want to discuss security of their assets like rare earths. So Trump talking right now. Oh my God, I've just yanked so much of my hair out, guys. I'm saying the course is tops, tons of info and knowledge. I like to go back and listen to the stream and trades and then review the section of the course over and over. I've learned a lot since being a very, I'm guessing you mean new trader. Yeah, so like the reason I started streaming live, I'm going to be honest, was for people that did the course so that it would help put everything together for them. Right, it would help put everything together. Be careful if we start tapering here, team. All right, there is squeeze potential to come and clean these out. I'm not saying to go long, but like if you're in a short, just make sure you've taken some profits because this, as we start to taper across, okay, this is a bullish pattern for a squeeze, right? Unless they really yank this and let it go. Just be careful, especially with him talking. And it's in lunch. All right, I'm going to get out of here soon, but any more questions before I go? I'm happy to have a little chat for a bit. I'm going to drag my lazy ass to the gym. I haven't been in enough this week. Liquidity starting to thin out a little bit here over lunch. So I'll give you some levels to look at. There was a buyer at 550. He moved up to 562 and then 575. I can see him. He keeps trying to follow up. 587 now. He's looking to get filled. So I don't know if he's a short trying to cover or if they're expecting a bit of a squeeze out, but he's walking up with it. You've got a little bit of selling here into 650, 662, and then it gets a bit thin all the way up to 700. The biggest order on the book right now is 737 in the near future. All right, once you get through that, 750, 800, these are just whole numbers really, 900 and 22,000. It's not going to go up there unless something seriously changes in this market. The market is red, right? Apple, 2% down. Microsoft, 1.3% down. Amazon, 4% down. Google, 4% down. Nvidia, 0.32% down. Basing and doing very well there, Nvidia, to be fair. Tesla, 1.5% down. Meta, the only one green, 1% up. All right, so just be aware. Any long today is a counter trend long. It will be a relief bounce in the current session. It will not be more than that unless it proves otherwise. Broadcom is down as well, is it? What did Palantir do? Oh. Oh my God. Come on. PLTR. Wow. What a beast. I'm not joking when I say I was looking to buy here. I'm really not joking. And I got talked out of it by a guy that used to be in the army who's saying like it's crap and we won't use it anymore. And every technical, this is when I was like, I'm only trading technicals from now on. This was such a good buy. Look at this squeeze, such a good buy. And then once we took that out, there's your breakout. I can't remember who was asking me. There's your breakout. Bang. All short stops against there. Bang. Never look back. See ya. See ya. Look at that. Right into a fib now. Into a 300% move. So 100. Look at that. Boom. Fuck. That's my big miss, guys. That's the difference between me being a multimillionaire and not right now. That is a huge, huge move. I could have got it from 6 and 7s all the way up to 115. From Robin Hood. Yeah, I remember when they used to do that. You used to get free stocks to sign up. That was one of the big ones, wasn't it? Yeah, it's a big squeezer, man. Big squeezer. I got to change this. I keep doing this, and I need NQH. Any questions before I sign off, team? I'm wishing you all an amazing weekend, whatever you're up to. You too, Jack. Nice one, everyone. Thanks for joining today. Hopefully you made some money either today or at some point this week, or hopefully you've learned. See you on Monday. Everyone in Discord, I will not be in this afternoon. All right, I'll try and check in from the phone. But Freaky Fridays, we got the best moves of the day, I think. Like, time to chill out. Monday morning, 9:15, 9:20. I'll be back. Don't be forcing your way long into this market. All right, it's not ready yet. It will show itself when it's ready. If you're still in runners, you can just keep holding them, but just be cautious. Don't be adding short into this near low of day. You will get yourself caught. And yeah, hard stops. Okay, hard stops. You must use hard stops. You don't want to be caught in these moves. All right. Trump's talking right now. Anything can change at any point. You don't know what he's going to say. It's an anomaly. We talk about it all the time. Use hard stops. Have a fantastic weekend, and speak to you all Monday. Peace out.